I don't
that
think
she's
they
actually into Kid
Well,
Rock.
that's
I
why.
want to make sure that no one here thinks that I listen to it multiple times. I mean, I listen to it once or twice.
We're the
Well,
weirdest.
that's like the way we are. I mean, we listen to stupid shit like that because it's funny.
Well, it's a catatonic youth
It's freaking
kind of
hilarious.
thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, yeah.
It's, that,
It's
that
hilarious.
mindset
It's
every
totally,
time.
it's totally wild.
Yeah.
All your Polaroids are cool.
Yeah,
That's-
y'all are gonna get to get
I'm
on
gonna
there
be
now.
there somewhere.
You should
Is
be.
I don't know where the
Duel-
foo is
Duel's
gonna
on there?
be.
Are you on there just once?
Probably way over there.
Dude,
Oh yeah, because
like
we
I
didn't
said,
get you
I've
on
only
because
been
of
here the one
Duel.
time, and that
Oh,
was
there's
like
the foo right
6
there by the
shows.
light up there.
Where, over here?
Oh
You
yeah.
Go up there. There's a couple. Yeah, the
Yeah.
foo right
Oh,
there. Yeah.
there's True Widow. I know those.
We
guys.
should have
The foo with
called.
way
We should.
shorter hair.
We
There's
should have.
Huffer, That's Che's band.
Yeah, we should have
that's
got Che.
Huffer, That's
Dude, look at Che in the
crazy.
middle, and then
We should have got Che Chavez
Russo
in, man.
and fucking Casey right next to
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Russo?
Yeah, dude.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, man.
Speaking, they're in the chat room.
There's
Yeah.
Russo again.
Russo's up there like a zillion times.
Dude,
Yeah.
Fit fucking rules.
Yeah.
Such a good
Fit's
band.
great, man.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Fit live.
I did. I saw him Rubber Gloves and fucking
Now
Rose
they're doing
Garden's
all
played
the.
with them like 4 times.
fucking killer. They're
Yeah.
really, really
That's
good.
what Dustin says.
Yeah. Got Doomfall. That's tight.
Doomfall.
Pinkish
Doom
Black.
Fall.
Whoa, that's a blow, like a blast from the past.
I
Yeah.
saw an Orkanaut post the other day.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
what.
crazy.
Thought they
if
were
it was-
done.
I don't know what it was. Maybe I was dreaming, but I swear I saw an Instagram post by Orkanaut.
It's like,
Y'all know this is our first. I think this is our first like joint interview podcast. Anything.
Really?
we've never done this
More
before.
lightning in
think
a
so.
bottle.
Yeah,
We-
because
Here we go. We're gonna unleash y'all to the world.
yeah,
Just
Good
fire
idea.
it all up. All right, let's start this thing up. Y'all ready?
yeah.
All right. Everybody sound
Let
good?
me get the cans.
Oh, so you are.
I guess for
Edgar-
the intro, right? Because you're gonna be
You can
playing
do the
other
intro,
stuff.
and plus you can hear yourself how far you are from the mic, and you know,
Oh,
Leah, feel free to pull that
I don't
towards
want
you as
that
much as you
against-
want, and you know, so
really
you
get
don't-
it in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hello.
And then, hell,
Is it me you're looking for? I'm just kidding.
It's my fucking sound.
are we gonna
Do
pull
some
up
James
the
Hetfield.
James Hetfield version?
Yeah.
All right, are you ready over there?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
This episode of the
Jay Jones Last Kicker.
is brought to you by
Geist Note.
and
Victor Wrench.
and Plastic Object.
The Jerry Jonestown Massacre contains graphic material, including offensive language, partial nudity, and completely ridiculous thoughts and opinions that shouldn't be expressed or shared by anyone. Listener discretion is advised.
Now everyone relax your anus, because coming at you from the Temple of I, it's the Jerry Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah, that's good lyrics. They told me it was in Psycho. I was like, why is it all going full circle? Oh, it's not over.
It is show number 535. It is Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. Happy Tuesday, Matt.
Dustin, happy Tuesday.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Are you
Little-
rested?
My scrotum is hot, warm.
No, what have
I
you
have a
been
warm
doing over there
scrotum.
before the show?
I think it's just the heat.
Oh,
Just the heat, man.
Just
It's
making
it's
it warm?
it's becoming a beating. I went down to San Antonio this last week, so it's
And
still hot for
that
that.
made it warm. I want to get
Yeah.
into that here in a minute, but I want to introduce our guest right off the bat.
Let's do it.
This is a night that's been long coming. We've been trying to get this going for a long time, but it seems like the world didn't want us to do this.
I guess not, man.
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
Stopped us at every turn.
Every single turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead, from radio left to right. Introduce yourselves.
Yeah. So I'm Scott White from Deep Red.
I'm Leah Lane from Deep Red.
Happy
Deep
Tuesday,
Red.
guys. How are
Happy
y'all?
Tuesday.
Good. Happy Tuesdays.
Happy Tuesdays to you.
Happy Tuesdays.
Deep red.
Yeah.
Deep red. Not to be confused with deep blue
Or deep purple.
or deep purple.
Yeah.
I missed the joke there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tried. I
really-
swung and missed.
It gets us real close to deep purple in the record stores.
well,
so,
when you mix
we're
deep
cool with that.
red and deep blue, then you get deep purple, I guess, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put them together and boom, there
I
you
wish
go.
it was an adequate description of the music.
That's
but
not
it's
even
totally-
close. Not even fucking close.
It doesn't sound like either or.
No.
But
I mean, there's probably some deep red or
Yeah.
deep purple influence in there, but like
I never heard it.
subtle.
I'm going to be honest
So I
with
don't
you.
know where
It's just
it's
riffs.
Yeah.
The
you
way
know?
this came about was I got some pretty potent edibles and I did some spirit walking and was doom scrolling.
Uh-huh.
Saw one of your posts and was like, dude, we haven't had Scott on in forever. And turns out it was even before COVID. It was back in the days of the food is what we figured out, right?
Yeah. It wasn't even till like maybe a month, 2 months ago. I wasn't even sure if you were in public anymore yet.
Yeah.
If you'd come out, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
No,
I hadn't
mean,
seen you at the practice space or
Yeah.
anything.
well,
And then I
that
started seeing
that had
you
more
and
to
Leo there.
do with kind of Duel not really doing much. Van Dam, has Reese, so really the only time I was up there was if they needed a fill in for anything they were doing, and we just started up practices for Deep Red live shows. What, like 5 weeks ago,
Yeah.
something like that. So that's still
And that's how I knew for sure y'all were doing something with Deep Red, was hearing y'all through the walls.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah.
rumble the
Wild.
place. So
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So because for the past like year, like it took us a fucking year, but we were recording with Jim King, and went in basically to do 5 songs, and we're doing it in the dumbest possible way that you could record a record, which is like 3-4 hours at a time, once a week. So you
oh,
kind of
that sounds like
Sounds very familiar.
dude.
That's the spectacle schedule.
It
you're
was-
on, so,
yeah.
I've heard that.
You're
Yeah.
on the over 40 schedule, it sounds like. And
shit.
you're not even close.
Nah, not even there. Yeah. So, would not advise that to bands that are wanting to record quickly. But
Or wanting to record it all.
yeah, wouldn't
yeah, because it's
suggest
aggravating.
Well, it's really
No.
aggravating, and also, it kills momentum and
Yeah.
interest to a certain degree. You get to a point where you're so frustrated with it that it can be inspiration zapping. But that's the cool thing about working with Scott is Scott never lacks any inspiration. He will tell you that he
I-
does, but he never does.
Wow.
He's an inspiration for that. So anyway, you keep talking. I just had to,
No. Yeah,
I had to just brag about you for a minute. But
Thanks.
anyway, keep going.
thanks. This is a very supportive fan space.
Oh,
It's very
Yeah.
positive in here.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
that's
We
This
try
week.
for being as negative as we are.
But
I
that's
think
why
it's
we
like,
started
that's kind
it.
of the thing.
I
We'll
mean,
start bitching about the world here in a little
But
bit.
that's
Yeah.
that's totally
Might as well
why
soak it in now.
Yeah.
That's totally why Scott and I even started Deep Red in the first place.
He's off.
Scott
I'm going with
posted
Sans.
He's
Scott-
going nude.
Scott posted something on Instagram, and I only knew Scott as like the bass player from Duel, and he posted on his Instagram story like, "Does anybody even like shoegaze anymore?" And
Some shit like
it was
that, yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
and I responded with like, "I do," and then we basically ping ponged band names back and forth.
But we got into hilarious deep cuts.
It's like,
like
yeah,
fucking-
just
like you into
total
Mojave 3, you into
Exactly.
fucking Bardo Pond
Yeah.
and Chapter House and like,
Yeah. Walter Space and like stuff
Balter
like that,
Space, dude.
and like
Fuck,
swirlies and stuff like.
yeah.
And it was really funny.
It was the drop 19s that made me know it needed to happen.
Drop
Oh,
19s.
Yeah.
That's
And
when it was love.
That's
and
when
I
it,
can't
We're
remember
doing a band.
if it was
Yeah.
you or me that was like, we should do it.
Yeah.
But we
How long did it take to go from that point to getting in the same room?
like 2 weeks,
If
It was real
that.
quick, huh?
if that.
Because I mean, we met initially because of a Duel show. There was that period of time where it was like prior.
Duel,
it-
Sub-Sahara, and Rose Garden.
we-
every weekend.
We
at
ran
3
that
weeks.
lineup so many times because it just like all the bands got along. We had really good chemistry. It was enough variation on set. It just like it always sounded good. We always had a good time together. It was always a good night. And the first time we did it was at Ruins, and
Was it
Duel
really?
used it was at
So
Ruins.
Ruins?
It was at Ruins, and
It's been one of the 2 times I've ever played.
Yeah, no shit.
It's-
Yeah.
Three Links, I guess, has a hold on Rose Garden.
Yeah, now. But
I can't play anywhere else.
Well, we Duel used to do that only shallow covers. So the My Bloody Valentine cover.
That was at Three Links. I have
Yeah.
pictures of that.
No, it wasn't. It was at Ruins.
I have pictures of it
I
at Three
fucking-
Links.
Well, we did it at Three Links
Well,
too,
it
where
was
you
happy
sang
and
with
positive.
us.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. Sorry,
But
I'm
Falling
jumping
apart
talking
ahead.
about- Yeah,
I'm jumping ahead. You go ahead.
jumping
It's a
in the
band
future.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
shut up.
This is as bad as our band fights ever really get. Just talking shit to each other. But yeah, so we played that cover, and she was fucking drunk. Comes up and like super stoked about it, and just like it was so bad, blah 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 blah. And then we like, she gave me a T-shirt, but it was like a large. I'm like, I'm very tall and big, so like this isn't gonna work. She's like, just keep it anyway, dude, whatever. And about a week
This is
later,
my business card.
yeah, pretty much. And like a
Hey,
week
that's kind
later,
of genius.
we're
That's a
ping
good business
ponging
card.
bands, and next thing I know, it's like I had a song that ended up being Box of Memories off the EP. I had that song laying around for years, like pre-Foo, I think, or around the time that the Foo started.
Mm-hmm.
I did that as a demo on like an iPad and tried to start bands with multiple people for a long time, and just nobody was really that interested. And
That's the intro rockin' song. That's like
Yeah.
right after the intro. I mean, there's
Yeah.
an intro on but that's the one that gets everything going.
yeah,
So you've had that sitting around for
I had that sitting around and just like MP3
here you go. Like,
for years, and like in the exact same arrangement.
Really?
Without vocal. Yeah.
That's
Nothing
awesome.
really changed, but nobody really wanted much to do with it. And I had a really hard time finding band members and people to work with. So when I met Leah and we went down that rabbit hole, I was like, well, hey, I've already got this song. Like, you tell me what you think about this as kind of a direction. And she was like, well, I've got these other kind of riffs and ideas that were laying around. So our first single was actually one that she had written, where basically she sent me a song, and I think if I remember correctly, it was just like a voice memo.
Yeah,
of,
it was
like,
a voice memo of me playing like acoustic guitar and
Yeah,
singing.
yeah.
And I remember he like fleshed it out. He like took the song and like broke it apart and basically made it like a full band demo and sent it back to me. And I was working at Sam Ash at the time.
Sam Ash is still around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Wow.
remember sitting in my car on a lunch break and listening to it and just like weeping because I had spent years like trying to make a band that was never going to be shoegaze, and the band eventually broke up. But finally, I was getting to make the music that I always wanted to make. And I remember when we first finished Before You Leave, the EP, I remember saying to Scott, it's so cool because I'm in my favorite shoegaze band.
and
Like,
so
and it's true. I mean, like, Deep Red is my favorite shoegaze band.
I wouldn't qualify this as shoegaze to me.
Look, hey,
Like,
it
it's
was a
just-
pipe
but it's
dream to make
awesome.
it shoegaze, okay?
So-
and
No,
at
but
with every song,
That's not no offense or anything.
No,
it's
no, no.
just freaking.
Yeah.
My
I mean, it's
shoegaze-
great.
I'll take it.
but it's-
I don't really have a strong personal tie to any
Genre.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think the new material that we just got done recording with Jim, there are one or two songs that are outright like there's not really anything else you would call it. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty much directly shoegaze, including like the song that I think is probably your favorite now, right? Blue Eyes.
Mhm.
So it's like that, and but then there's other stuff on there that's just outright heavy. There's other stuff that's almost, I don't want to call it punk because I feel like that's kind of egregious, but like, more upbeat, kind of like that. But
Mhm.
I don't really pay attention to that when I'm writing. I don't really give a shit. It's kind of one of those things where if we have a good song, we have a good song. If we feel like it's coming together and it feels good, then that's kind of the direction.
Yeah,
we
fuck
run.
the labels.
I mean, I love shoegaze, so that's always part of our mentality,
Right.
right? Like, even if I'm writing
Don't
a
fuck the
heavier
labels.
song, it's like, don't fuck the label.
Don't fuck the labels.
Keep the label because
Keep the labels.
we are proudly like shoegaze based. Anything else you want to call us?
There you
You
go.
know, it's like that's always kind of the root that's going to be there. That's not going to escape us.
Is it weird that I'd put y'all like as a happier, funner Deaf Heaven?
happier,
What?
Death
happy, and,
Heaven.
happy and fun is wild to me.
Yeah,
Also, compared us
well,
to
compared
Death
to Death
Heaven, is
Heaven,
Death
weird.
Heaven's
it's just
weird.
like a weird. It's just a blast wall of sound that
I feel like that there's
It's
a lot of
fun.
other
it's not
bands
evil. It's not
that
dark.
Yeah,
we're,
tend to
we're
like
more
bands like
adjacent
that.
to because I feel
That's
like
what I love.
As long as you dime your amps, we're in.
I feel like
Yeah.
bands more like Swerve Driver and Failure and Torch.
Those
I can see
Yeah. I
failure.
feel like those
I
are
can see
bands-
failure all
I
over
feel
it.
like those
Yeah.
are bands that we probably are closer to than Death Heaven.
yeah.
I mean, I like Death Heaven, but I don't really know if there's.
Because
That's
like
why I said y'all are happier versions of them. Just
Right.
like that
Okay,
sonic
but,
wall of
like,
sound coming across.
You're a non
There's-
you're a non Death Heaven.
well, it's the same thing. Like we've
That's like saying we're a non-Beatles Beatles. I mean, what?
We-
Like,
well, we've also gotten like, because I've had people in the past when we put the EP out that said like, and I understand that like everybody's point of reference is different, so I think that plays a lot into it. But when we put the EP out initially, there were inevitable comparisons to like the Foo Fighters.
I don't get that. Out of
What?
it, but
Yeah,
okay.
you don't remember that? Like,
wait, can I tell a really funny story for like it's 2 seconds
it
long?
better be fucking hilarious, dude.
No, so my first band.
Let's all laugh
my
really
fir-
loud.
So, no, don't. But
My
my first
laugh track ready
my,
to go.
my first band, the guy I was saying at the time, he was like, I was like, we're a psychedelic band, and he was like, I don't really think you guys are. I think you guys sound more like the Foo Fighters.
Mm.
And I
Huh.
called my guitar player at the time, and I said, hey,
I quit.
I quit. And he
Fucking
said,
out.
Yeah.
he said, why? And I said, because if we sound like the Foo Fighters, I'm in the wrong
I have
fucking
failed.
band.
I'm out.
I have failed.
I-
And so
my
I couldn't.
calling.
That's news to me. That we were
No, that was
compared-
like the first article written about us.
What's wrong with you people?
That's y'all had an. That was in an article too. That y'all sound like Foo Fighters.
What
art was
Come
it?
on.
Was
Which
it
I mean, but
with,
here's the thing: I had just gotten out of the
These
Foo
music writers today,
relative-
man.
I mean, it's not. It to me, it's
But
not.
you were in Duel.
Yeah, but like, I hadn't been in Duel for that long, really. I think it was like 5 or 6 months, and my attitude towards it was this: like, look, if you're gonna compare us, I take it as a compliment of like, their arrangements are great, the band is good.
Yeah.
I don't mind being compared to a good band.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a good mentality to have.
There you go.
Yeah, but
that
like
works.
if you really want me to like you and ingratiate yourself to me, tell me it sounds like failure, and then I'm like, oh yeah, cool, thanks.
Well,
You're
when
in.
I show it to people, like I showed it to Allie from Boot Blacks.
Yeah.
Who's Allie?
Blue Black's fucking rule. by the way.
they're a goth band that Rose Garden plays a lot with, and
Yeah.
her husband is the drummer, and he used to play with Asabi Sexu and all these different shoegaze bands. And I sent it to them, and the first thing that they came back with was like, "Wow, it sounds a lot like Torch." And I was like, if you look at the album artwork closely, you'll see that Scott's
wearing a
wearing a
Torch
shirt.
Torch
Torch shirt,
t-shirt.
Yeah.
You tried to
Yeah.
cover it up, but I was like, yeah, that's a Torch shirt.
I mean, I wasn't trying that hard. It was a
Yeah.
jacket, but it's like, I wear that pretty heavily because I Torch was a really big band for me. That was around the same time that like I had gotten in, towards the end of high school. I had always been into like death metal and really any kind of metal. I'm not picky.
Yeah.
I like power metal. I like death metal, black metal. Any kind of metal you give me, I'm good.
Why listen to music?
I
when
mean,
there's more metal coming out.
we fucking tangent a little bit, but like I went out and played a Rose Garden show in New York, and it's this goth festival that's happening. It's really exciting. We're in this room. We're hanging out with all these bands that we
It's
haven't met
back
at
on
the time.
Boot Blacks. It's back.
Back on Boot Blacks. And so we're fucking sitting in the green room, and they're all having this conversation. So it's me in a room full of goths, and they're all talking about, I just don't understand guys that like only listen to metal. You know
were
what I
they
mean?
were they all looking down at the floor while they talked?
No.
No,
It's
no.
that's the funniest thing. Like I had a lot of assumptions about goths. Like I'd been to the church before. I'd hung out with goths, but like,
Goths are so fun.
but not in like a large concentrated group of them, other than like the
Most of
church.
the people
Yeah.
who listen to goth music or most of the people who play goth music don't even listen to it.
Sweetest
like
babies.
I walked into that.
That's true.
I walked into that room
yeah.
and with Scott and my other bandmates in tow, walked into a room full of goths that were not talking to each other, all looking, on their phones, and I just went, "Hey, so who here likes Van Halen?"
They're-
And
For real,
everybody like perked up and like started chatting with each other.
Who's
So-
putting on fuck Panama, dude?
yeah, exactly.
But that was the big thing because they're talking shit about like, well, who just sits around and listens to metal all the time? I'm like, me.
Yeah.
Because there's a subgenre of metal for every other genre of music. So it's like, I don't give a shit what style of music you're into. I
Yeah.
have a version of metal for that that's more exciting.
There's more subgenres of metal than any other music
Yeah.
out there.
Once upon a
it's
time,
the
there was a
peanut butter to
podcast that
everybody's
was
jelly.
just going to focus one show a month
on subgenres.
subgenres, but
That
we
didn't-
fart.
Nautical
yeah.
Funeral Doom is probably my favorite. Fucking Ahab.
You sound
out
like
of
David
Germany.
O'Hearn now.
I mean, dude, it gets ridiculous. Like
yeah,
there's
it gets crazy.
there's like jazz grindcore. If you look at
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
Gridlink, you know, we're getting into tangents. But yeah, point being,
Green metal, white metal.
that's kind of the thing I think with Deep
What's
Red,
the
though.
white metal? Is that the Christian metal? The
Christian metal.
white
Yeah.
metal instead of
It-
black metal,
the
it's white
complete
metal.
opposite of black metal.
But
Yeah.
it's yeah.
That's what Rose Garden is.
They also refer to it as dog shit.
Hey
Never
guys.
mind, I'll retract my
There's
previous
too much
White
hope.
metal.
Yeah, no,
Too
I
much
said
hope.
that's what Rose Garden is.
You can't
You're
have
like,
light
also
at the end of the
referred to
tunnel.
as
Yeah.
dog shit.
Yeah, my bad.
Too
Yeah,
much hope.
Oh,
You
they're
can't
back.
play black metal with the light at the end
Scribe,
of the
please
tunnel.
redact that from the record.
Yeah.
Too late.
Can we go back and delete?
It's official.
Fucking fly.
Library of Congress. It's in there.
No, but that, I mean, I think it's impossible for me not to hear the influence that metal's had on writing for Deep Red.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's there. I mean, that's
for sure, but
No
it's
question.
like a lot of it's very places you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like one of my favorite bands of all time is Enslaved, which is like Norwegian black metal band.
Didn't they just
but
come into town?
Yeah, they just
too?
came
they
through,
did,
didn't they?
and it was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Oh, did you go?
I went, dude. I did the VIP thing. For
Was
it and everything.
that-
That's one of my favorite bands. I love them.
They weren't part of the Cannibal show, right?
No, so the Cannibal. I don't remember who came with Cannibal last time, but I know Cannibal's coming with Gorguts soon, and that's gonna be fucking.
Okay.
But that band, a lot of the way that I learned how to play guitar, because if you listen to Deep Red, a lot of it is like, from a guitarist's perspective, is I'm always trying to find the weirdest chord that I can make work in songs, right? And as many of those as I can connect together. And Enslaved always would layer weird chord over a weird chord, right? And so if I just mix that with elements from all the shoegaze bands that we listen to, like Drop 19s and Swirlies and fucking, you know,
Chapter House.
yeah, especially Chapter House, shit like that, like the more kind of swirling, multiple guitars doing multiple, just totally variant
Stacks
things.
upon stacks
Right.
of guitars.
So a lot of our songs have, and it's this has been a pain in the ass for, you know, Jim King and Michael Briggs and myself doing demos. A lot of our songs typically have 5 to 6, maybe 7 guitars going all at the same time, and they're all doing different things.
That sounds
So-
like my flavor. That's what I love.
we understand
a
this
pain.
I love
language.
that.
It's a pain in the ass, but it's like,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of the way my brain works. Is like if you take any one riff out of it, I think most of them are kind of boring.
Yeah.
You know
no,
what I mean? But it's
you
like,
layer them on top of each other, and it's art.
yeah, and I hear.
That's our ice machine.
Yeah. That's it.
She's like,
Sorry.
who's knocking at the fucking door, man?
That's our AI ice machine.
Don't worry about it. She's skittish, bro.
A
She'll
ice
run any second.
machine. Our A ice machine.
White
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to get in this. We kind of started talking about it before the show, but I was like, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Because okay, so y'all are getting together, y'all are getting things going. Y'all record this EP with Briggs,
Mhm.
Michael Briggs up at Civil
you,
Civil
Briggsy.
Audio up in Denton. Y'all did Before You Leave.
Mhm.
Y'all got it all prepped, ready to go, and the fucking world shut down.
Yeah.
And I remember this clearly because I went out on a photo shoot one night of shooting all the venues in Fort Worth empty. Like
Yeah.
there was no one on the streets, there was no one in the parking lots, and I was just like, you know, this is a moment in time. I'm gonna go driving around Fort Worth from Billy Bob's to Mass to Lola's, everything.
Yeah.
Just it's Friday night.
Just
It's
dead.
empty and it's dead.
Yeah.
And Fort Worth is dead. But I had y'all's EP on repeat and must listen to it like
Nice.
6
Aw.
times that night
Awesome.
because
Thanks,
it
dude.
was great, and it was kind of like, in a weird way, like the soundtrack of what was going on, like at that time while I was running around shooting.
Well,
photos
yeah, and like
stuff.
we
It
had,
was,
we had no idea,
great.
like even like that title Before You Leave, like looking back on it in hindsight is so, I guess apropos. Like,
Apropos, nice
like,
word. Good
it-
pull,
it's,
dude.
good pull, dude. No, I just mean, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the Peter Murphy album title, Should the World Fail to Fall Apart. It's
Right.
like when you look
Yeah.
back on when that album came out and like how just kind of poignant that album title is in hindsight. It's kind of the same with Before You Leave because we named Before You Leave before the world fell apart. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It's like, hey, just one last thing
Yeah.
before everything changes.
Well, when that happened, Did it piss you off? Were you kind of
Dude.
relieved because you're trying to get
Yes!
this going?
Yes,
No,
it
no, no,
pissed
no.
us off.
Yeah,
What?
But,
yeah, but
like,
it
where
was.
did it?
So for me, it kind of landed in this
Sorry,
weird.
I'll sit
You're
back,
fine.
but like, the pandemic
No.
is a dark mark on my soul. I had
Yeah.
so
There's a lot
much.
of people like
It was-
that, man.
Well,
I mean,
that's
rel-
understandable.
You know,
It murdered so much.
It
yeah.
did. It totally did.
Well, but here's the thing.
And if you have momentum going, and you just hit a wall,
I'll be honest. So a lot of, and I think this comes through, especially when you kind of listen to any of the lyrics that we have, or especially some of the new material that we're going to be putting out. Like, a lot of it is pretty indicative of like I have the tendency to be cynical. I have the tendency to be a pessimist for sure. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like
We're all circling the drain.
I work on that a lot. It's one of my that is going to be one of my life's missions is to like try and fight my way out of that because I'm a very like
Meh.
existential crisis kind of not mad like I care a lot.
but
But
you don't have to work your way out of it. It's cool. People need society.
want
needs
to,
to
that.
avoid
I want to,
depression.
though.
To,
It's-
avoid
it's-
depression, you want
Well,
to.
I'm not ever gonna avoid depression. That's a chemical thing I've got. That's not going away. But when it happened, I had already had about 10 years prior to that of everything I had ever tried to do musically going wrong in some capacity. If that meant, getting a band, we're just about to record, we've been playing shows, it finally was getting good, we write a great song for the first time, and then it breaks up a week later.
Right.
Yeah.
I start another band, we write a bunch of songs quickly, it's starting to go okay, and then we break up. And then it's like,
Mhm.
I had a couple years I didn't play at all. Then I did cover bands, and the whole time I was doing cover bands, I was trying to find people to work with on anything original because I was writing the whole time, and I write a fairly large amount of shit, and I just couldn't find fucking anybody. So Duel had an opening. Belvedere asked me to do it, so I went and did that. But I was always like, I always felt like I was the fill-in guy. I was the guy that you called if you just need somebody to learn your songs in a week and come in, play, and do it consistently. I was reliable. When that happened, just getting to the point where we had recorded it in the first place was a fucking nightmare. We basically
Wait, before you leave.
the recording of Before You Leave.
Okay.
The experience of recording it with Briggs was such a blessing to me because it was like I think we did the entire thing in 3 days.
Nice.
Right? And like the entire thing was such a wonderful experience. I had such a good time with like Briggs and I had a whole day that was just dedicated to overdubs. And we basically just went through and like tried to use I at one point was like just trying to use everything in his house. So there's banjo on the record, there's just all it's all kinds of shit. There's a harmonica going through a Marshall at one point, like just dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I had such a good time doing that, but I am a person that's always ready for the other shoe to drop. So we dropped the record, Central Track's getting behind it, and in a big way. Like I think they did like 3 articles on our release for it.
Yeah, Friedman was really into it.
Friedman was super into it, Spicer was super into it, Garrett Gravely was super into it, and like all of y'all, if you ever hear this, I love you all. Thank you so much. But it, and that was huge for us. And for me personally, as somebody who had never really been recognized for the things I had done, and that's what I've been working on since I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a songwriter. I didn't give a shit about being a good guitar player. I just wanted to write good songs. So to finally have that recognized for any period of time, and then like a week later, the world shuts down. I'm working from home.
Mm.
We had a show booked at one point, and it was I mean it hurt a little bit,
The
but-
coolest part about like Deep Red, for me, is just like I'm in another project that takes up just as much, if not a little bit
Another
more time.
project.
Another project.
Rose Garden
It's just a
Funeral Party.
project.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in Rose Garden Funeral Party,
Uh-huh.
and Rose Garden is like when I write for Rose Garden, I have to be very intentional with the way that I frame situations of heartbreak. Like I have to make sure that there's kind of this undercurrent of hope in all the negativity, because Rose Garden's kind of ethos and mantra is this like be kind to each other, we love you. It's like it's more about healing and forgiveness than anything else. And one of the greatest things about being in Deep Red with Scott, and I was kind of attempting to touch on this earlier, but I kind of lost my point. But Deep Red is different. I often describe it as like Rose Garden. The way I write in Rose Garden is kind of like from a position of hindsight, like after you've calmed down a little bit, and you can see both sides, and you can recognize like where you kind of might have done better, and it's from a standpoint of forgiveness. Deep Red is the immediate reaction. And so when you're talking about like COVID and how all of that went down, it actually created like for Scott and I like kind of a hotbed of creativity, because you know we both were so heated with emotion, which led to a lot of creativity from him and a lot of lyrical inspiration from me. Because with Deep Red, I feel like I can basically write about my knee-jerk reactions to things. So, you know, the lyrics in Deep Red are much darker and much more, I don't know, I guess cynical than Rose Garden could ever be. And it's really wonderful to have that outlet. And when Scott and I started the band together, you know, that was kind of our agreement. We're like, we want this band to be therapy for the two of us.
It's reactive.
It's reactive therapy, so it's kind of like, you know, so Scott and I had a really close.
We're both sensitive fucking babies.
Yeah, and
so it's like
we had a really
yeah.
close, super personal connection as people, like right off the bat, because I was learning, like, in order for us to write these songs, I had to know the worst things that had ever happened to Scott, and Scott needed to know the worst things that had ever happened to me. And so we kind of had this like immersion therapy.
Well, that was
kind of thing.
I think that was the most
Yeah.
was the most interesting period of this whole project was like we
Because
had
we came together, we didn't know each other at all.
like
and,
we,
like,
we
and it
met
was,
once
like-
at a show.
And we
You
we
know.
got together and we sat in my apartment and we just, for lack of a better term, trauma bombed each other for like hours. Like
Trauma bomb.
well,
I like
I mean,
that. I like
dude,
that.
it was kind of like
I haven't
you know,
heard that. And I like
That's-
that. I like that
It was weird.
term.
Yeah.
Trauma
And
bomb.
that's wild. Like,
Yeah,
you're
so-
that open and that
Yeah.
because
comfortable with doing that.
we're both like we
Yeah.
were both, I think, looking for that outlet.
yeah.
And it's not like we had agreed like, okay, so you're gonna come over and we're gonna talk about all the worst things that's ever happened to us, and then
Right.
we're gonna make a song. It's like it just kind of started to happen. Like we like had a few beers, and like I was like, yeah, well, this happened to me, and he's like, no, dude, you know, something similar like happened to me, and like
Yeah.
you know, also, you know, we're both like he said, like really sensitive, and so. You know, upon reading my lyrics, Scott got an insight to be like, I should ask her about that. And when I read his lyrics, I was like, I should ask him about that.
Well,
And
that's kind of the craziest thing. So if you read the lyrics to Over and Gone off Before You Leave, that
Mhm.
song in particular was so one of the verses and the chorus, like I think
the first
Right.
verse is you, the second verse is me.
right. So it's like that's kind of a thing that we do a lot is there's typically a verse that relates directly to something that happened in my life or a chorus that'll relate directly to her life, but then the next verse is about a totally separate event, but that was kind of that shared
Well, what's
emotion
interesting-
behind it.
What's
you know?
interesting about Over and Gone is like the first verse in Over and Gone is
That's
about
still my favorite song.
about his like attachment to a person, and then the second verse in Over and Gone is about my attachment to substances.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like addiction in its kind of multiple forms, and that's been the coolest thing is that, you know, whether even if our situations are different, we can find this commonality in the actual like root of the issue, and write from that. So like, you know, even if it's like fear of death, he can write like about his fear of death from his perspective, and I can hear his perspective and say, yeah, no, I completely understand what you mean. Here's where I come in with that.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really cool thing. I mean, Deep Red is more than just a band. I mean, Deep Red is therapy. Like it and
In the worst, least professional sense of the term.
right, absolutely.
That's kind
I
of
mean,
awesome. Though.
But
Yeah.
it's so much more because like I've described Rose Garden the same way, but like Rose Garden is methodical. Like I can't be really negative with that band because I'm trying to portray a different message. So like Deep Red really has provided this like space for me, and I'm so grateful to Scott for making music with me because it's it's so raw and so yeah, like reactive.
I think it was the band Whores that had the catchphrase fucking, good times, bad vibes. And that's kind of like that's kind of the thing. It was a really weird period getting to know each other, because that was like we would literally meet up, and if we didn't have ideas for lyrics or melodies or new songs or anything, we would just be like, okay, let's talk. And for hours we would just sit there and drink and listen to music and just talk about the worst shit that had ever happened to us. And it was this weird kind of like,
You should have started a podcast.
And what's really cool about it
I
is
mean,
like,
we just took a different direction.
what's
We just
really-
added guitars, right?
what's really, that's a cool way of putting it. What's
Yeah.
really cool about it too is like, we just happen to like flow in that way really well. Like, I'm not an overly like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you.
Yeah, we don't.
And
It's
I-
not
and
like
I-
panicking.
Yeah, and I
it's
feel like if either one of us had been that way, the other person would have not been able to
super
open up.
turnout, yeah.
But like, we both were like, man, that sucks.
That was also like,
And it was able to, you were, and like to me, I'm able to open up to people a lot easier when they don't flip out when I tell them how bad things have
Right.
been. And I think Scott's the same way. So it's like, Scott and I can tell each other like really dark stuff, and the other person will just be like, damn, you want another beer? And
Yeah.
that makes it so much easier. And having that openness with your writing partner, it just,
Frees you up.
well, yeah. I mean, I've never been in a band where I wrote with somebody ever. This is my first collaborative project ever, and I told Scott that from the beginning. I was like, I don't know how to do this, but it's never once in the 4 years that Deep Red's been a
I think
band.
it's like 5 now.
5 years that Deep
think
Red's
so.
been a band.
Yeah.
It has never once been awkward, been difficult, been stilted.
Mhm.
It's never once felt like we were disconnected in any way. I remember one time I was going through a real bad time, and I showed up.
Just like a week ago.
No. This is
I
this is
know, I'm
the
joking.
Phil Collins night,
Oh, not
Yeah,
the Phil Collins.
and I showed
Okay.
up just wasted, and then got more wasted. And
Yeah.
Scott was like, "What's the song about?" He goes, "It's about my fear of death." I go, "All right." And I like wrote out all these lyrics and just like banged it out in about an hour, and then almost got Scott kicked out of his apartment complex.
Is there
For
any
us.
correlation to Phil Collins?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
what I was about to say. I stood on the balcony of Scott's apartment complex, and everybody was walking back from parking their cars and went, "Hey, do you like Phil Collins?" Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. So
Is
like,
that it? That's the
there's no correlation in the song because
no.
damn.
I'm not allowing that. But
Do.
But no,
Yeah,
but that's just
no.
like an example of like, it's like, even on my worst night, like even when I'm like completely off my game and super upset, I can still come in and create with Scott effortlessly. And I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
well, I think that's kind of the point of the band too. Like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a reflection, and I have a hard time. I'm an open book if it's a personal conversation with just like one person at a time, and like, I'm extremely open with people. I don't have any problem telling anybody anything, but musically, as far as lyrics or anything like that, I always had a really hard time not just being hyper vague about things, using almost like the torch method of like, nonsense basically, that if there is any meaning, you're digging through it, or like, and so that was actually one of the few rules we gave the band, was like, if you're gonna write lyrics, like it's okay to be vague, but like the concept needs to be understood. So
Well, it's
that-
also, cool that he got the least vague lyricist in the entire world.
well, that too, yeah.
Like,
So-
I hate metaphorical lyrics. I've always hated, like,
She's got the Tolkien issue. She hates metaphor.
well, I have the
That's a
Bukowski.
deep cut for
I-
the nerds.
No, I have the Bukowski thing. where
That's
I'm
not
like,
such a bad thing.
I
though.
like
I
it-
get sick of hearing
Right.
songs about demons in our
Dude,
head and stuff
I
like that.
really like
Everybody
it.
gets sick of that shit at
It's
some
the same
point.
phrases over and
Yeah.
over.
Well, when
again.
I was a kid, I was severely dyslexic, and I really wanted to be a good reader. So I read like all these classics, and I had no direction in what I was supposed to read. And my first boyfriend gave me Post Office by Bukowski, and I read that book when I was 17 or 16, and I felt like it was the first time someone was just being fucking honest with me.
Yeah.
I was like, "Thank you."
Leah, when did you start writing music?
When I was 11 years old.
Was it dark? Was it, or not dark? Was it not your cliche crap back then? Were you still straight to the point with your emotions and feelings on what you were
No,
writing at
'cause
11?
I don't feel like
No.
anybody starts there,
No,
right?
because like,
Yeah, I don't-
I was trying really hard to
Dad
be.
grounded me, and I'm mad about it.
Well, I was like, I was trying really hard to write like psychedelic music,
Hmm.
and you know, I didn't
At
mean
11?
yeah.
How?
She's a fucking nerd.
Well,
dude.
because my favorite bands,
Yeah.
my
She's
favorite
reading post. What
Yeah.
would you say you were reading at the age of 17?
Post Office.
Post Office.
But, like,
So
Yeah.
But my favorite bands
You
when
weren't
I was like
reading-
11 were like Pink Floyd and the Beatles and the Brian Jonestown Massacre and the Dandy Warhols and Black.
at
Album
11, you
Motorcycle
were
Club.
listening to Dandy Warhols. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like so, I was trying really hard to write psychedelic
They're
music.
playing.
But so like, I mean, I didn't mean anything I was saying. Like, and I didn't really start writing music that like I meant until I was probably about 14. But I've shown every song I've ever written to my dad, and I remember
Every song?
every song I've ever written. My dad's been the first one to hear it,
That's cool.
and I remember
That's
being
He's cool, dude.
I
I dig
remember
shit
being
Shout
Yeah.
out Leah's dad.
Shout out, Dad.
Leah's
If you
dad-
listen to
Leah's
this
dad
podcast, I
sounds
said the
cool,
F
dude.
word. But so I would go show my songs to my dad, and my dad gave me the best songwriting advice that I've ever been given in my entire life. And I think about it every time I write a song. He said, Leah, if the melody isn't so coherent and catchy that a mother who can't really sing can't hum it to their baby and it be recognizable, it's not a good song. You know, so like you
Wow.
think about like
Long, eloquent way of saying nursery rhymes are the way to go.
well,
every
no,
time.
it's more
Yeah.
like you. It's
That's good advice. It's
you
like the
can't-
best advice.
So like when I would come to my dad with like a song with like a wandering melody or a song with a monotone melody, my dad would be like, would say it's good. You need to go back and work on your structure. It's good, and you need to go back and work on your melody. And I learned pretty much everything that I know now about songwriting and singing with any kind of conviction from my dad and Patsy Cline. And that's like Patsy Cline and my dad taught me the same thing, which is to sing with conviction and to sing like you're talking to the person that's listening, and to structure your songs in a coherent and understandable way. And that's honestly what I like a lot about what Scott and I do. You
Sing
know,
it like
coming
you're
at
having a
shoegaze from a
conversation.
perspective,
Yeah.
coming at shoegaze from a perspective that is structured and has pop sensibility is something that's really cool, and it's not done a lot, you know. And I think that's what makes Deep Red, or that's one of the reasons why Deep Red is as special as it is we kind of approach things from a really weird, not weird, but I guess unconventional angle with in this type of genre, I guess.
That's cool. That's a lost art.
We're fucking.
That's cool.
So sorry you guys
with,
put us on
with
podcast.
modern
We're
music.
talkers,
I think
bro.
No,
I think
that's
with modern
good.
music, that's kind of a romance of music that is kind of lost, especially in top 40. Like it's all we're singing to the masses.
Oh, I agree.
There's not much of we're singing to one person, and we're
Yeah,
direct.
no.
That's a very cool
Well, if
way
you-
of looking
if you,
at
like,
writing your
Have you
music.
ever- I remember the song that like really, I was like probably 14 and just getting into Patsy Cline and her song "If You've Got Leaving on Your Mind." The way that she says "Hurt me now, get it over" on the last chorus, she goes "Hurt me now, get it over."
Yeah,
And
Oh,
it's
dude.
like that hesitation, and
Mhm.
it's like she's feeling the emotion and she's talking to him. She's like, just do it already. And like I heard in that moment, because my dad used to tell me, he's like, you're not singing to anybody. He's like, you're writing these songs, you're writing these lyrics, but when you portray the song, your emotion in your voice is dead. He's like, you've got good intonation, you've got good pronunciation, but you don't sound like you feel it.
Well,
And
that
if
was-
you listen,
that's like the biggest thing too when we started working on all of this material, because I wasn't previously aware of Rose Garden until we played with them at the time. So there was no like, I didn't have any preconceptions about who she was, what she did. I saw her live and went, hey, that person can fucking sing really well. That's tight.
Rose Garden's pretty damn good.
Pretty goddamn good.
Yeah,
And
pretty damn good.
yeah, it's a pretty good band.
Pretty decent band.
thank
and
you.
we, so it was one of those things where like I saw this person that, just sang really well. And then when we started working together, I kind of realized that my favorite thing about working with Leah generally was, the empathy involved in actually like hearing each other out, meeting in the middle of experience, but being able to relay those experiences. Almost like, do you guys ever read Cyrano de Bergerac?
I have not.
Okay,
I've talked to people about it. But.
This was like, I had to read this shit in school when I was in like 8th grade, but I fell in love with it. It's so it's a play that I think is weirdly kind of what we landed in, where it's like this dude who's ugly because he has a massive nose gets a more attractive person to speak his words to the girl he's in love with, but she ends up falling in love with the guy because of the words, not the actual physical appearance, right? So it was like this kind of weird Cyrano de Bergerac thing where it's like, I don't have what I consider to be a great voice. Like, I'd sing on a couple of our songs. It's in the background on a lot of shit, or like one verse here or there, but like, it's fine, But I never felt confident enough to be the singer. And meeting Leah and starting to work with her was like, it's like meeting your kind of musical peanut butter chew jelly. You know what I mean? It's like,
shucks.
yeah, shut the fuck up. Is the one compliment you get this year. But like, it was this weird, like, I didn't know that it was going to
He
fit.
beats me when you guys aren't.
That's true.
Well, I shouldn't laugh at that.
As often
This
as
is all for
possible.
show, right?
Yeah. But motherfucker. but it was weird. It was really weird to finally get that first song done, because I think once we got that done, you never know how it's going to sound until you actually just get something on tape, so to speak, and like listen back to it and go like, oh shit, we actually have something here that's like, our first single was literally something I recorded all the instruments in my bedroom. I went to her apartment with my laptop, tracked her vocals and like one other guitar, and that's the single. Like, nobody recorded that. It's fake drums. It's fucking,
I'm just trying to figure out the timeline here.
Yeah.
It keeps hitting me in the head. Where did this fit with Futureless? The last dual record.
I think it was right. It was before Futureless had come out that
So
we
y'all
started
that y'all
working
started
together.
working together right before Futureless.
And I
Okay.
think Before You Leave came out after Futureless had come out.
Okay.
So it was like a little bit after that.
Okay.
Because we had already done release shows for Futureless and all that. And
I couldn't remember, and I was looking at dates on like the singles y'all put out before the EP and then everything, and I was like, man, it all kind of runs together right there, and I couldn't remember.
it's
how that it rolled out.
I think those couple years were pretty busy.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of hard to keep track of all that for me too. But like, that was kind of a rush for me, and also, getting asked to be in Duel.
Apparently, you were asked to be in Duel because you have a big hog. That's what we're being told.
That's
from
a fucking
the,
lie, bro.
That's what we're being told from the chat room right there.
Who
Nick
said
Russo
that?
said, there was a big hogs only rule. So that's why you're
You
asked
made
to
the
be.
cut.
I didn't even
God
realize
damn it,
there was like
Russo.
a chat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's tugged on it one too many times to know, but he should know it's
Jeez.
moderate to average.
Who
But
said that? Nick?
Russo.
Oh, Nick Russo. I love
Yeah,
you.
We love Nick Russo.
I love you, Russo.
But,
I love you, Nick.
Best fucking dude. But being asked to be in,
Who the fuck
Well,
is
see,
Rose
now-
Garden Funeral Party?
see, here's what's
Do you see that?
here's the fucked up part. Now I'm gonna say anything about Duel, and it's gonna sound disingenuous because I saw Nick was talking to me. But being asked to be in Duel, because I liked Duel a lot prior to that, but Belvedere and I actually worked together, and our first meeting, like the first time I met Belvedere and Doty, I met them first. I think like timelines get kind of fucky there too, but like met them first, and it was actually under a little bit of duress. Like, it was not the most comfortable of situations. There was
They pulled guns on
I had a
you? Like,
roommate.
what the
There
fuck?
was conflict.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole story, but like
Makes
it
it
wasn't
like-
conflict with me. I
like-
was trying to break up a potential thing.
I mean, if Doty drew down on you, I totally get it.
No.
I get it.
No,
Yeah.
Doty is my brother. We were up last night playing Diablo 4 together. Fucking Dothmere. But
Dothor.
well, it was Dothor initially, but now it's Dothmere.
I know, I'm
It's
impressed.
tight as fuck.
He told me that the other night. He was all proud of himself.
Yeah, he's super happy about it.
I
But
am Dothmere.
being asked to be in Duel was one of those things, because I had already showed Belvedere like the fucking Box of Memories demo. Again, like, didn't have Leah on it. I just was showing him like, this is the shit I've got just laying around, and he was like, that's all cool. And so he knew that I played. He had seen, all those guys had seen the Foo at some point. We'd played with Harkonnen for the Weezer show, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a mutual awareness. But
Matt, do you remember that Weezer show with Harkonnen at Three Links?
I do.
it was a
Okay.
good night.
I threw a hat.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you remember much of it.
It was a real good night.
That was a great night.
I had a few pops that night.
Yeah.
I will say.
we being in Duel was fucking, for me, one of the best confidence builders I think I've ever had. Because
It's a fucking fantastic band.
well, it's a fantastic band, but it's not just that. It's like those guys, you know, I like them because with their critiques and with their, you know, we'll call it constructive criticism, but anytime you hear an opinion from those guys, you know it's 100% real. And that to me is hyper important because as somebody who's, you know, a pessimist and kind of believes the worst about my own shit, like I don't like compliments. It makes me uncomfortable.
You're so pretty and so smart.
Motherfucker, if you
and
don't
so-
shut up.
You're such an awesome bass player.
Yeah, you're so
and, man,
intelligent.
I like your
music
hog.
builder,
Yeah, and
I-
you're really
Yeah,
funny.
Russo
and-
likes my hog. But being in that band was a weird confidence builder because I didn't have a lot of confidence as a musician at a high level.
Yeah.
So to get in that band and like really deliver on what they were doing and really click with it made me feel great. And I love that band. I love those guys. That's my fucking family till I die. I
As a
love those dudes.
weird little 10-year anniversary fact, since we've been doing this show for 10 years,
Yeah.
the first real band we had on the show that we didn't know anybody in
Yeah.
was Duel.
Right.
That's great.
Right after Back to Drunk came out. Because I
See,
was
and
like, I was at that release party. I was
Yeah.
like, these guys fucking rule.
Mhm.
This one, Forrest was playing with them. And I was like, we got to have these guys in.
Shout out for us.
This album's fucking rad.
Yeah.
I loved everything about it. And they were the first band we had on the show that we didn't know anybody in the band.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. So like, you know,
Well, personally, I mean, we'd seen Doty with House Harkonnen
Right.
a million times, but we hadn't like been buddy
see,
buddy
and
with
that
him
was the
and shit.
thing. I didn't know Doty at all. Joining Ben now, he's playing bass for Deep Red, which is probably going to be weird because I think everybody's used to seeing him on guitar. So it's like he wanted to do bass. I offered to switch.
He's doing
So
good.
if anybody asks, I offered to switch because Doty fucking rules. But he's doing great. And Doty is also kind of my translator a lot of times, like my emotional translator. But Duel was really important for me, man. Like I love those guys a lot. I love those songs. I love that band very
Mhm.
much. So that was a really important kind of transition for me because prior to that it was all cover stuff, which as fun as it was never satisfying in any way emotionally for somebody who's like going home and writing, 2 or 3 songs a week and you've just got this backlog of material just fucking sitting around doing nothing. It's frustrating to go and play cover shows frequently and
Right,
it's
yeah.
like so and
Pays better,
yeah,
but it's not fulfilling.
it's not. I mean, and
Yeah.
to me, that trade off, it's like the fucking, unless you're doing it on a degree where
Full
it's like,
time, yeah.
that's your job. You know what I mean? I don't have a particular problem with cover bands like a lot of guys do in bands. Like I think it's a great way to get stage experience. It's a great way to learn your instrument. It's a great way to learn composition for how other bands do things. So it's cool in all of that. But if you're somebody that wants to be creative and write, I think it's one of the worst things you could do to yourself
Yeah.
for long periods of time. And the Foo would run its course well before we admitted.
Because the problem is, if you're in a really good cover band, then you're being booked all the time, and you don't have
Dude,
time to work on your own shit.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that
that's what
was-
sucks.
That was the thing too. So we did the Foo. We had that period with doing the System of a Down cover band too, which I got made fun of plenty of times for all of that too. But like,
Why? We've done it a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
Spectacle, and it's great.
dudes are elitists. It happens. It's
whatever.
and like I get it. It's like the cover band thing is corny. I get it. I'm not blaming anybody shitting on it.
How many
but,
times did y'all do System of a Down? Y'all did them at the Halloween shows.
dude? We did more than that Halloween shows. We
Did y'all really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we did the Granada at one point.
Oh, I didn't know y'all
to
did
like
Granada.
a packed out Granada.
Y'all did the Fort Worth whatever.
We probably
Fort Worth
fest
Rock
thing.
we
Assembly.
didn't
Rock
do nearly
Assembly.
as much as we did for for Foo Fighters, but we played like one show where we did all of Toxicity plus another 10 songs.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Never do that. But I mean, I grew up learning guitar by playing that shit. So for me, it was,
Yeah.
again, it was like, it's fine. But I felt very relieved to be at a certain point in a thing that was like, I was hoping we were going to have another round of songs and recording and stuff. That didn't quite work out, but I was happy to be playing in something that was at the very least original. And then once Deep Red happened, that to me was like, because I swear, dude, I mean, we did the first song, we did Things We Can't Say. And after that, I was convinced that, like, because again, my mentality is like the other shoe's about to drop. So I was like, we did that one, nobody's going to give a fuck, and then we're going to just disappear and never do anything else. Right?
It's funny that you said that because I was just having a conversation about that anxiety.
Yeah.
How a form of anxiety. What does it feel like when you talk to someone that hasn't had much experience with anxiety? It always feels like there's a shoe that's about to drop.
Yeah.
All the time. You're always like, okay, what's gonna fuck me over next? What's gonna fuck me over next? And it's funny that you just mentioned that same term because I had a personal conversation probably 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And said the exact same thing.
It's brutal. And and unfortunately, I had a period of time from about, 15 years old to about like 29 where that was true. Every other time, the shoe did drop every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you because I
Yeah.
have 2 albums sitting around that have never been finished.
Yeah.
With bands that
Good
either
songs,
just
too.
broke up or just were done or whatever.
I mean,
That
But
was
I
just-
feel like that in life. Period. If things are going too well, I'm thinking, well, okay, something's about to happen. Something's
don't
gonna kick me
remember-
in the nuts pretty soon.
I don't remember who said it, but there was somebody who was like, every band is one bad practice away from
From
breaking up.
breaking, yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's
it's like
true.
this most true shit in the world because it really
It
is
is.
like. But this, I think that was a big reason that like one of the earliest conversations we had about doing Deep Red was like, we, at least initially, were like, we don't want this to be a band. This is me and Leah, and that's it.
Kind of like an art project.
Not even really like an art.
No,
I think we had the
more like-
intention of doing live, but
no, it was never meant to be like a recording project. It's a different mentality.
Kathy and Regis.
It's that it's a partnership. It's not a band.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like because we can make the commitment to one another, but we can't expect 5 or 6 other people to make the same level of commitment.
But you're also,
Yeah.
it's the 2 of you. If it came down to it and you needed to record something, y'all could both get away with
right, correct,
recording everything.
correct. And but in addition
Which
to
Or
that,
you know,
programming
but-
everything. Like,
but in
which we
addition to
have,
that,
yeah.
you're agreeing that anybody else who comes in,
Y'all sound
we-
like Dustin and I.
we're super happy.
mean-
we're super happy to have them, and
I don't
we'll-
like people.
and we'll honor their
Just don't.
we'll
Yeah.
honor their contributions and we'll be appreciative of it and lift them up. But at the end of the day, the band is Scott and I, and I have always been a proponent of keeping the core of a band as small as possible, because I've been in projects since I was 11, and like I've been in bands where you've built it up for 10 years and it breaks up and you lose everything because
Yeah.
everybody was like just absolutely imperative to the makeup of the band. And unfortunately these days bands like the Rolling Stones aren't as well,
nobody
bands
has their one band.
like, right, no one has
Yeah.
their
Every-
one
you
band,
know what I mean? Like everybody's in
But-
5 or 6 things.
but
which,
it's-
like,
well,
but
that's
it's
the
way-
problem
too.
here
but it's-
locally.
but it's way
Yeah.
easier to
Because one of
get
them's
with-
going to break.
to get with somebody
Yeah.
that you connect with and just be like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
making this commitment to you, and we're gonna do this for as long as we can.
And I totally get that because I've, my entire life I've been a fan of bands that are either one man or 2 band. I mean,
Totally.
well, it's
got
also
Nine
like
Inch Nails posters on the wall,
Yeah.
Ministry,
oh,
Skinny
okay,
Puppy.
so all of those
It's
bands
always
like
been
also,
2.
it's
They
like-
always have hired guns with them.
well, it's also like
Yeah.
okay, like think about like the Brian Jonestown Massacre. It's like
Yeah,
that's Anton Newcomb and just a revolving lineup of backing members.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a miracle that he's been able to retrain his tambourine player since the 90s, Joel Guion. But like, it's Anton and a revolving lineup of people.
Well, and I don't think it's like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at our release schedule and notice that like it's been a minute.
yeah.
And that,
But there's also been issues with that. So
I mean, like, yeah, but that also comes down to even a partnership between two people. You can still have moments where it's tough. Like you're just not in a position of your life where you're ready to open up like that again, or you're not ready to write again, or you're not feeling confident, or you're not, it's like I had a lot of anxiety around COVID.
Also, if that damn Rose Garden band could just break up.
No shit.
if they would stop playing shows and going on tour and
If they
fucking
would just-
everything up,
Well, that's the funny
if they
thing.
would just chill out.
It is.
just relax.
Yeah, and that is kind of the funny thing too. Is like I think, and she unfortunately knows this from deep experience. But like I'm somebody that if I'm close to you, I'm brutally honest, and I don't mean to be a dick, but it's like, but I like telling my, if you got a booger in your nose, I'm gonna fucking tell you got a booger in your
Do I have
nose. Kind
booger
of
in my
thing.
nose?
Currently, no.
How we doing? No whistlers?
No whistlers.
All right,
Everybody's
we're good.
good. Clean room, dude. That's
Sweet.
nice. That's
All
sick.
right.
You don't get those often. Everybody's
Any
got
white shit
straggler.
in my nose?
I mean, a little bit, but it's not- we're not going to talk about that.
Shut
But
up.
but it is one of those things where I think your enthusiasm for a thing that, as of that point, had not played live, had an EP come out, and you had some disappointment around. We had this thing we were super proud of that was super collaborative, just kind of fell apart. I'm at home the whole time while she's working on Rose Garden shit, and and I'm writing alone for a lot of that, and sending shit, but it's like it's hard to get excited about that. So
You know what's kind of weird though in a reverse aspect from like a fan aspect. It's like once this does go live, the explosion is going to be crazy.
That's exactly what I've
Well,
been telling you.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, 'cause
People
I'm-
want to see this
again,
live.
I'm the pessimist, but like
I'm not a pessimist. When it
There's
comes to
people in the
this
chat
band.
room right now asking for live.
Actually, they are.
so
Live. We want it
Before,
live.
before you give anything away, because I want to,
yeah.
I want to talk about the future here and what you've got, because you've talked about, y'all have recorded with Jim King. How many tracks
Jimmy the
do you have
King.
going on?
So 5 tracks with Jim as of right now.
Okay.
Any
Any release on the horizon or anything?
yes. So
you got a date.
first
set
song
and-
is probably, we don't have a direct date set, but I think first song is probably end of the year?
Oh my god, yeah.
Probably before that, yeah.
If
So
he, if he doesn't
well,
let
hold
me
on. Is
release
we're
a
getting
single-
we're getting
Is there
finals.
Rose Garden stuff going on before the end of the year? They're getting away?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always Rose Garden shit going on, so
Rose
we
Garden
don't
doesn't stop.
Uh-oh.
we don't
Uh-oh.
we
Uh-oh.
lost feed.
There we go.
That was weird.
Yeah.
No,
So
Rose Garden doesn't stop.
Rose
and-
Garden doesn't stop,
Yeah.
and we don't really like factor that in
You know.
because I've even helped on Rose Garden shit. Like I wrote the bass parts for the most
Almost
recent
7,
Rose Garden
yeah.
singles. So like
Didn't you play a show?
I played
He's
multiple
played
shows,
several
Multiple
shows
shows.
with
a lot
us.
of shows.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
up,
So, and again, it's like
I know I've
when-
seen you on one, so that's
yeah. and-
Rose Garden is like a carousel of disaster. I mean, like,
My thing is
sounds
like with
awesome.
with the dual guys with Leah, it's always going to be a situation where if they need anything at all from me, if there's any way I can help,
and
You're
Van
there.
it's
Damme.
done.
yeah.
Well, that's the dual
Dual
guys,
guys.
Van Damme. Like there were shows Reese couldn't make it to, and it was like, great, I'll learn the set, I'll fill in, had a great time, but that's kind of a thing. It's like it's a weird extended family. It's like but as far as release, yes, there's going to be at least one song released by the end of the year. We're getting finals back from Jim right now, and they sound fucking ridiculous.
Jim's a badass.
I'll show you
everything
guys some
that's
shit
come
before we
out. All
head
right.
out.
Before you leave.
Before you.
Wow, that's weird. How's that
Yeah.
all tied in?
Nice.
But
But-
what about a live show?
Live shows happening probably early next year.
Yeah,
Well-
I've heard y'all practicing. Y'all seem like y'all are ready to go. I'm just
We
gonna say.
well, it's unless
Do we?
if you
Do
want a
we sound like
5-song
we're ready
set-
to go?
Who cares?
Mhm. I
Show up
care.
for a 5-song set
I
and
care.
walk off. You know how many badass
Here's my-
bands have played 2 songs and been like, "That's it, later."
yeah. No,
That's
I
what
get
you
it.
get, and
I
you
get
just
it.
keep the crowd
Well, we've
wanting
already-
more.
I know, and I get the perspective, but it is to me. This is, and again, this is a hard thing. It's a hard line you have to walk between. I can be, I don't want to say a perfectionist because nothing I do is perfect, but it is that like, fuck off. But there's those moments
Here we
of
go.
like, no, but there's those moments to me of like, I don't want to do anything halfway at all. If we play a show, I want it to be because we worked for it. And I don't, but by that same token, I'm not going out there to be, you know, Dallas's best bar band, Fort Worth's best band.
You don't want to be a bar band. You
No,
want to
no,
be
no.
a big band. You
Well,
wanna be good.
I don't give a fuck about being the best local band, the best anything.
You don't want a
I'm-
panthy?
I mean, I want to.
What's a panthy?
It's the Fort Worth
One of
Weekly Awards.
oh, we don't even
Oh.
have ours. Ain't even in here. The spectral
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
you
they
don't
never
wanna
gave
do
one
it.
to the Foo because Big
Hey,
Mike kept
with
being in there.
Nick
Yeah, Big
Russo,
Mac owns it.
Dallas Observer 2019.
Am I hitting your cable? I think
don't
that's
know
what's going on over
Is that
here.
what it is?
Maybe.
Is
I
it
don't know.
2019?
We'll blame it on the heat.
Yeah, Dallas
Well,
Observer
yeah.
best drummer 2019, Nick
Yeah.
Russo.
Nick Russo, ladies and gents.
Never forget. But no,
Oh, he never lets us forget.
This is one of those weird dichotomy
I
things. where
think
it's-
that's in his signature.
It
like
is.
when I get a text
His
message
email
from him,
and
it's
dude.
like,
He'll fucking
text
yeah.
or-
He'll tell you that during practice.
No, the last time that Scott
Yeah.
said, "Hell yeah, guys, practice sounded good," he said, "I sounded awesome," and then sent a picture of his Dallas Observer award.
I think
If
I-
you don't love Nick Russo, you're a fucking asshole.
I
Eh.
agree.
You don't have a
He's
pulse.
all right.
Nah, dude,
Yeah.
he's the shit.
He's
No.
all right.
Nick's-
2019, goddamn.
Wait, really? All right. See,
I got the year right, buddy. Don't worry.
Russo, you are the best.
2019.
But
Best
So
drummer
this
that
is
ever
like-
lived.
this is the one. It's not an egotistical thing, but it is like the one kind of self-affirming thing I'll ever say. I don't want to be the best band in Dallas. I don't want to be the best band in Fort Worth. I don't want to be the best
Just
band in
do
Texas.
what you do.
I want to be the tightest fucking band you've ever heard.
There you go. Okay.
And so if we
Yeah.
play live,
There you go.
fuck you. I want it to be a dick on the table moment of like, we're coming out swinging and it fucking rules. Because every time Duel played live, I had the confidence of somebody that was 15 feet tall, you know, because it just,
But that was the thing with Duel. Like every time they played live, it was a sonic wall of sound just blowing your
but it
balls
was,
off.
you could take the
I
volume
loved
away.
it. Not
You-
even volume.
take-
It was everything.
We'll
It
take the
was just-
take the volume out of it. That band was air fucking tight.
They were.
And that's-
it was great.
But who's our band right now? James LeBray,
Yeah.
Michael Doty,
Uh-huh.
Nick Russo.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna be tight as fuck.
Scott White.
It's gonna rule.
That's what I was
So-
about to ask you was who was the
That's
who
it.
was gonna
It's
be
Duel, except I'm
Deep Red.
Belvedere now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I now am Belvedere.
I was wondering who Deep Red Live was.
That's it.
So that's it.
You didn't
And
know?
you go.
Oh, that's who it is.
No, I know.
That's how I know that I can out party Doty.
I know,
That's
but
one
I
of the
needed to
ways.
do it for the podcast.
Oh,
I
see.
practiced.
He
next door to
buried the
y'all.
lead, dude.
Oh, sorry.
Golly, I
man.
see y'all every Thursday,
Terrible.
I'm sorry.
Wednesday, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
But-
like, are you blind? What's
No, but
going
that's
on?
but
Too
I
much tension
genuinely
in
like
here. I gotta go
the
pee.
new material
I gotta
between the
go
new
pee,
material
too.
we've
I didn't
got.
know we were allowed to go pee.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, cool. We can pee. See you guys.
Well, now I can talk shit about her.
All
Yeah,
right,
seriously.
Let's talk a lot
Perfect.
of shit about that.
Oh,
So
Hey, Matt, show her where.
yeah, there's a bush over there.
oh, shut up.
Later. But it's a weird thing, dude. It's like it's for somebody that's had a lifetime of self-esteem issues and just never feeling confident about really any aspect of myself.
Yeah.
This is the first time where it's like it's not even faith in myself. It's I know I've got the best singer. Like I
She's a
don't care
badass.
who your singer is. I've got a better one.
Yeah.
I know I've got a better
She's a
band.
badass.
I mean, dude, it's like I've got a better bass player, I've got a better guitar player, I've got a better drummer. Like I've got the dudes, man, and like
That first EP is just like I'm not kidding. When y'all released it, and I was like I said at the beginning of the show, I was driving around doing these, shooting empty venues. Just had it on repeat, and it was great.
dude.
I loved it. I freaking love it. I'll still pop it in.
I
and
didn't-
run through it every once in a while.
I didn't think it was going to be that big
great.
of a deal. I mean, like in
Dude,
terms of
It sounds so good, and it's
That's-
so just cool. Like there's
Briggs nailed it
there's
on all
a
those songs.
I could say it, it's good and everything, and technically it sounds good, and blah blah blah. It's not that it's good; it's fucking cool, and that's
Thanks,
a big thing.
Yeah,
It's just a fucking cool EP, and then even the singles, like what y'all released a single like.
so
a
we
few
had
months later, or there's more in. There's
we
like
didn't have
6
anything.
months?
Yeah, so we didn't have anything afterwards. We had prior to that we had Things We Can't Say, Television,
I think-
and for a brief while we also had
What was the
song
one
called
y'all only put on
Bandcamp,
Bandcamp?
Save the World.
Okay, when did y'all do that?
That was a just house demo. That was
Just
just
and put
that
it
was
up
one of
there
the-
for it.
like
Okay.
any of the 3 singles. Those are ones we just did at the house and put out.
Okay.
Save the World is one of those. That's me being a fucking asshole perfectionist, where it's like I like that song too much, and at some point
Yeah.
it needs the Jim King treatment. But dude, it's funny. It's like finally, I've thought long and hard about how to kind of go about emotionally attacking doing a thing where it's like a lot of the creativity involved in a lot of the writing is me, and
Hmm.
in most bands that's been the case in two bands, which it didn't matter for either of those bands. Nobody gave a shit about them anyway, which in fairness they weren't that great, so it's fine. But everything else is like I've always been a supporting role for
It's a
everybody.
learning experience, though.
It is, but
The
it's like
other
it's a
band's
learning experience of figuring out how to feel about receiving compliments when you're not comfortable doing that.
I
And
get that.
and I'm trying to get better about that because
And you're always, are you, well, I'm not going to just throw you in this, but I'm going to ask you, are you always uncomfortable with your final product and how it's received? And how people, are you wanting like
actually no,
some
because
feedback? Or are you just kind of, are you one of those like, I did this, here
not
it
really
is,
feedback driven.
enjoy it.
I want people to enjoy it. I want people to really like, and the coolest thing.
I like hearing that people enjoy stuff I do.
Absolutely.
Like the photography stuff.
Well, I
just
think
wanna make
pretending
sure
that you
it's happy,
don't
yeah.
is a false kind of humbleness that I just don't fuck with. Like it seems disingenuous to me.
And to me, it always feels like I don't give a shit if you like this or not. I'm giving you this final product. You better like it because
Yeah.
it's what I'm giving you, and I don't like
Well,
that
there's a-
aspect.
Oh, hi,
I don't like that
puppy.
feeling.
Oh my god, you were so sweet.
Roxy, what are you doing?
I
in
love
here?
Roxy. No, Roxy should be in here. Roxy's the shit.
All right, we
Sweet
just got
baby.
derailed by a dog, but yeah,
Hi, big baby.
I don't
but-
like that feeling. I just like genuine, like hey, did you like what I did for you? Okay, cool.
Well, here's my thing. So we got. I know, sweet baby. We got when Central Track nominated us for best song
Hmm.
that year for Things We Can't Say for our very first single. That was a big moment for me personally, and also will you let Roxy out?
Oh yeah.
My sweet baby.
She's just looking at the door.
Don't leave
I
me.
know she's so good. But it's an emotional thing you have to go through where you actually look at things and go, okay, I don't. The point of this band from the beginning with each other has been brutal honesty and really bearing who you are.
Mm.
I'm learning to do that now to people that I'm not close to people that I don't really know, and that's uncomfortable. But I don't want to whether you end up liking it or not is irrelevant at this point because I want to write something that if you relate to it and you feel both the emotions that are put into composition, because I hate when people say emotions only come through lyrics or the people that only focus on lyrics.
No,
They both play a
They-
very important role,
bounce off each other.
but composition to me is always where I kind of drew how I felt
Yeah.
in a thing. And we got a
What
flyer,
the hell?
but
We got a locust in here?
yeah,
What?
I think we got a locust
It's a
in here.
cicada, bro.
There's a whole cicada in here.
It's a whole.
hide your drink.
Everybody just stay calm.
Yeah, it's fine. If you don't move, it won't see you.
cicadas?
Anyway.
Anyway, point being, I just
cool. I'm glad everyone else could just move on from that.
yeah.
It's all right.
Just gonna be panicking the rest of the night.
No, it's okay. If you see me just run out the door, just know I've gotten in my van and I'm driving back to Dallas. Like you
One
guys.
bug is all it took.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I'll finish that
It should
thought
it should
some year.
calm down once it's in here, all right?
Yeah.
You're right. It'll adjust. Welcome to
Yeah.
human society,
the-
cicada.
A
Okay.
demon
But-
cicada.
As you
But
were saying.
point being, it's like it is a weird kind of thing you have to go through where it's like I don't want to be pretend humble about what we're doing when I have full faith and confidence that what we're doing fucking rules. Like I have really harsh standards for myself. If I listen back to something that we've done and I can feel really strongly about it that if I didn't know our band, I would want to listen to this and I would fuck with this, then to me, that is all the validation I need. If other people enjoy it and I get feedback from them, that does matter to me. Like, I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't because I feel like that's horseshit. Anybody who tells you they don't give a shit what other people feel about their band is fucking lying to you
Yeah.
because you wouldn't be putting things out publicly. You wouldn't be playing shows. It's like that is an element of it, but we never let it dictate what we write. and we never let it dictate kind of the direction the band goes. Really, it's like it's a gut level, what I write in the moment, what I'm excited by, what I'm feeling, you know, what she's feeling, how she's feeling during that moment when we're actually kind of putting all this out. That is the only thing that matters.
Nice.
So, and that's
I'm excited to see this live. So hurry up and get it done so I can see a
it's
live show. I want to see a live show.
It's gonna be fun.
Spit out. Yeah.
It's gonna be really fun. I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, the guy's been fucking killing it.
It sounds great listening to it through a wall,
mhm.
but Van Damme also sounded great.
You know,
coming
you
through
can
a
knock
wall.
on the door, right, and just come in.
Well, I've thought about just busting in there a few times.
Do
but
it.
I probably will.
Yeah,
I
the
probably
door's
will. I mean,
unlocked half the time anyway. Fuck it, just come in and hang out.
I mean, it turns into a beer drinking fest anyway.
oh
early
no,
tonight,
because
so-
it's not gonna do that otherwise.
I know.
What
Yeah.
are you talking about, bro?
I was about to say, we got a beer for you.
It's
I
all
hope
good.
you like Coors Light because it's still the same for those dudes.
No, if you're really sneaky,
Oh,
I'll
wait.
steal you one of James's special
Or I'll-
beers.
I was
I
gonna
bring
say-
Yingling every once in a while.
I was gonna say
so I'll
they're
hook you
not
up.
the seltzer days are gone because I
Seltzer
remember
days are gone.
Good
Well, James
God.
is still on the seltzers,
Oh,
but you know,
James, we need to talk.
you got to have the one.
You gotta
right?
get off. You gotta get off those seltzers.
Yeah,
Or we have a whole bag of seltzers y'all can just take and put it in the room.
yeah.
Probably hallucinate if you drink those seltzers.
Probably.
Wouldn't
by now.
prefer that.
You're selling it to me already. I'm like,
yeah.
seltzers free, hallucinate. Let's go.
I did want to ask you one thing because we were talking about Torch earlier. Did you listen to Floor?
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
So
Right
I have a
now,
floor tattoo.
Oh, we have a Floor.
I've
poster.
the fucking shittiest tattoo I've ever
Oh,
received
shit,
and
look at
anyone has
that.
ever received is the Dove album cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking love that band.
It's embarrassing, but I saw Floor every chance I got. If you
Did you see them at Dada the last time they came through?
yes, and let me
I was there too.
put it to you this way, and
That's
this
a
is
great
like
show.
I get to go deep cut Floor nerd shit on this. This rules.
Okay.
So if you ever saw Floor live, and you saw them play the song Slomophobe, that is because of me. And I'm
Really?
playing that guy. I swear to God. I had that song, which is like a demo off of, if you listen to the box set, it's the Fuck You For Now
Yeah.
disc. It's like the first or second song on there. And it's the most caveman shit you'll ever hear in your life. It rules. It's the best demo track anybody's ever tracked. It is the shit.
That show was so fucking good.
I saw
last
so I
time
saw
I
them in
got there.
Austin, and they were doing a reunion show. We went down to Fun Fest just for that. Played a show that night at Red 7, the club, and went to that. Met Henry the drummer, met Anthony, and like was talking to them. I used to have Slomophobe as my alarm for when I woke up on my phone.
Yeah.
And so every morning I woke up to this fucking dumb caveman riff. They didn't play it at either of those shows, and I was like, "You guys ever gonna play this?" I was like, "That's my favorite song. Like that's my alarm tone." And they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I wake up to that song every morning." So they come back around to Dallas for the Sons of Herman Hall
Played
show,
it.
and Anthony, before they play that song, points at me and goes like, "Hey, dude, this one's for you." They play fucking Slomophobe, and then he gives me a set list at the end of the show, and I still have the set list. So,
That's-
real tight,
Cool story, man.
real tight, real dumb. Nobody knows
Anthony-
that song or gives a shit, but like, you know,
If you
it's
go
great.
back through our archives, we sat down and had a complete interview with Anthony before the Dada show.
He was a
because
really sweet guy.
we had a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, grew up with him
Oh, cool.
and knew him very well. She's passed away since then, but she hooked us up with everything. So before Dada,
Nice.
we went over there and hung out. I was like, "What? You know someone from Floor?
Yeah.
What?"
Yeah.
And
Talking about
Anthony
Tool.
was
Tool,
freaking
remember
great.
they had not released 10,000 Days
Oh, we're
yet,
not
and
talking
he
about
was
Tool, bro.
well, they're
We're not
friends.
going down
Was it
that
10,000 days?
I think so. I think it was
Is
that,
it that
long
far
ago.
It was either 10,000 Days or whatever they just released. The
No, it wasn't
I was
Fear.
in junior high. when
It
that
wasn't
record
Fear?
came out.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, he was talking about that in our show. If you go back through our archives, I don't even know what show number it is, but Anthony was talking about on tour, staying at Danny Carey's house and listening
Yeah.
to Tool demos, and how it's just freaking
Yeah.
ridiculous. And it may have been 10,000 Days. I don't know, but it was like they were all buddies and hung
Yeah.
out and did shit. But Anthony was the sweetest dude. He was cool as shit.
Well, Floor, if you listen,
Or he
to,
still is cool as shit.
if
I'm not
you
gonna
listen
say
to a lot of the shit that,
that's like he died, but
well, if you listen to a lot of the shit that we did, it's like, you know, I don't think the influence is like super strong between Torch and Floor and all that. You know, sorry, it'll be there, but I think there's a carryover for any band that does more and more heavy shit, but tries to have that melodic edge through the vocals.
Yeah.
Steve, you can't really discount what that guy did because, I mean, dude, when that shit, like when Neanderthal came out, was my first exposure to any of that.
Yeah.
And I had been super into like Jesu, so like Justin Broderick's thing after Godflesh.
I love Godflesh.
I do
Don't
too.
get me started on
Bless you.
Godflesh.
One of the best live shows I've ever seen. Fucking ruled. But
Godflesh was. I haven't seen Godflesh since the 90s. So.
dude, they're incredible. I saw
Yeah.
them in Austin.
What, last week or?
No,
like,
this is 2004.
they just played.
I know Levitation, but
Yeah, Levitation, and I was
yeah.
pissed I couldn't go.
their new shit rules.
Yeah, that
but-
new record is awesome.
Motherfucker,
I'm
do you
really
just
sorry.
need to say
No,
something?
I'm really sorry.
Go listen to the new
I should
Godflesh
have brought your
record.
jewel. I forgot. Yeah, the new Godflesh
She's got a
rules.
backup.
But
I've got like 10 backups.
anyway, rant being with
Those who know.
yeah, she left one at my house the other day.
It's okay. I've got one in every place I do.
I've got one in every couch
Yeah.
from Fort
No,
Worth
I
to
literally,
Dallas.
I was sitting in the green room with Three Links, and I like slid my hand back behind the
Found one.
cushions like this.
It was
not-
one of
and
yours.
and I felt a jewel, and I was like,
That's mine.
I pulled it out, and I looked at Evan, the manager of Three Links, and I
Love
was
you,
like,
Evan.
love you, Evan. And I like looked at it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is mine. And I tapped it, and I was like, oh, it's charged too. Great, mine's dead. And just like plugged it in. It's like,
Just picked up where you
Wow.
left off.
We have a shitty running joke where every once in a while she'll be hitting her jewel and I'll pull my phone out and just
the first time he
Hit
did
your
it,
phone.
it like
dude,
it
I've-
murdered me. I laughed so.
it did murder. It murdered the first time and then every time after that.
Every
it's
time
been
after
like,
it,
meh.
I'm just like.
yeah, but I still do it.
But the first
I'm
time he
very
did it,
committed.
it really broke me.
But now the torch floor crossover thing. It's like again, I don't think that like anybody who was trying to learn how to do melodic shit with really heavy shit.
Yeah.
At the time, I don't know that there were a lot of crossovers that weren't like power metal or something like that, but like a cooler, kind of more modern take on it for that time anyway. You don't really have a lot of other examples like that.
And it's weird that Floor came out of where Cannibal was taken off and all
Well,
that shit.
But
Like,
if you
they
look
were
at the
all from
Melvins, it
Tampa.
makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like it was all because I mean even
They were kind of rebelling.
when Henry the drummer was a super Morbid Angel fan, he told me he
Yeah.
tried out for him at one point.
Really?
He's a sick guitar player, dude. He
Is
tried out-
Morbid from down there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
or just Tampa, Florida, dude.
All the Tampa bands I get fucked up. I get all screwed up.
Tampa rules for
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
death metal.
Yeah.
But
And orgies.
and what?
Orgies.
Oh,
Okay.
All
I
right.
thought that was just Altamira and Fort Worth, dude.
Well, that too.
But those are pretty gross.
But, you know.
you gotta be careful.
Those are
Speaking of
those are-
Altamira and Fort Worth,
That's
did you know the
broken
rail
glass.
closed?
No, I did not know that.
The rail is
you got a
done.
Gesundheit,
I
dude.
did not know that.
Really?
Yeah, you
a
did.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
The rail is closed, and they posted a whole Instagram thing this
No
week
comment.
saying the rail's done,
no comment.
so no more rails at the rail,
Yeah, no comment.
and
Off
they're-
our awards.
Zero
yeah,
comments.
off of our awards, and they're moving they're moving all their focus to Big Rob's off Trinity Boulevard in Euless, which is
I mean, hey man, like Arlington's becoming a big spot too. Like Growl Records is fucking
Yes.
Growl's
killing.
great.
Growl's killing right now with
Growl's
with
fucking
shows,
rad.
dude.
That's half a mile away from my
I love
house.
Growl. I
They're-
love shows
I
of
love
Growl.
living
It's so
there.
DIY
Dude,
and
not
fun.
only that,
Yeah.
they're having so many like I'm so excited by because a lot of what we've talked about so far for the initial shows is like who do we want to play with for some of these early shows, and I am a huge proponent of like a lot of people who like shoegaze are a lot of metalheads, a lot of hardcore dudes. Like there's
Yeah.
a running joke about hardcore bands becoming shoegaze bands and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's fucking true of us too. So it's like I want to play with like fucking Yatsu, fucking Misanthrope that just started up, or
Dagger
like
Wound.
Ozone or Dagger Wound or fucking
An Ozone Deep Red show would be awesome.
dude, I want it.
That would be
I-
cool. We
that'd
should
be
do
great
that
as
at,
shit.
at
Fucking-
Growl.
I want it, dude. Like I want to play.
There's a
with-
badass show this Thursday at Growl.
I mean,
Who is it?
I'd have to pull it up real quick.
but that's the thing. Like
True Grits. There,
I want
know
us
that for
playing
sure.
with fucking like metal and hardcore shit, shoegaze shit. Like to me, anything good,
Yeah.
And if we ever get the opportunity to open up for fucking Unity TX, I don't care if we get one song. I'm fucking going, dude.
Thursday.
Y'all don't listen to Unity. Unity's the shit.
Unity's cool.
fucking rules.
So Thursday at Growl is Ballista, Kind Eyes, Heat, Earth Route,
This is sick.
or Earth Rot. Sorry for my weird pronunciation.
Thursday?
And True Grit.
Also,
Yeah, it's
shout
gonna
out
be a fun
High
show.
Fells. I saw them recently.
It's gonna be a fun ass fucking show.
Have y'all seen High Fells yet? Y'all like black
I
metal?
have not.
I
I-
haven't seen them yet. No.
But do you like black metal?
Yes.
Yeah, I like black
Dude,
metal.
fucking go see High Fells. High Fells is fucking incredible.
Where are they from?
Cool.
Dallas?
And they're gonna play at
Dallas
Growl
guys.
or Where-
No, I'm sure they've got some other show coming up, but
Uh-huh.
buddy Jeremiah plays drums for him. He's a fucking killer drummer. Goddamn, dude, that band just fucking blew me away. Just rules.
Well, fuck Russo. I was gonna ask you if you wanted to reopen the Rail as a new venue, but whatever. I guess
I love
the
this side
you and I could-
conversation with Russo happening in here.
Where are
Appreciate-
you, Russo?
he was
Why aren't you
he was
here?
thinking about ambushing the
Just
show is
He
the
was.
rumor.
He was gonna jump in
He's
here
gonna-
and be all
Yeah.
crazy.
If
but-
Nick Russo walked in right now, like
Paint
the
gun us.
Kool-Aid Man,
The only
just-
reason
oh yeah.
the only reason when Russo was like, "You want me to come out there?" I was like, "Dude, I think I can rein in me and Leah, but if it's like me,
Hey,
Leah, and fucking
hey,
Russo,
hey,
dude, it's
hey,
I know
I feel
you,
like I've
but
been
that's what I'm
really
saying.
well behaved.
That's
It's
what
a
I'm
I
party
saying.
feel like
bus.
I've been very
That's
well
what I'm saying.
behaved.
But that's what I'm
Where
saying.
are we
With
at?
Russo, the dynamic changes for me because I start just being a fucking dork.
I feel like the worst dynamic that could have possibly happened would have been you, me, and Dodie.
Oh,
Because Dodie and I would have been like, yo, but have you heard that super obscure yacht rock record from
And
1976?
then 2 minutes later, we're like, "Y'all heard that new Limp Bizkit, dude? Shit's tight."
Yeah, and then I
A lot
leave.
of that.
The cicada
The new
reappears
Limp
and I
Bizkit's
leave.
funny.
Dude, the number of
Limp
times we
Bizkit's terrible. I don't want to talk about Limp Bizkit. Can
the
we just
number
change
of
the subject,
times
please?
we
Stop.
listened to Out of Style while we were at Jim's house, that fucking guitar riff rules.
It's funny.
It's
The
fucking
whole
great.
record is crazy. But he's
Shout
a
out
good,
the Vaginas when we were in fucking Atlanta. We got drunk and just watched the Lollapalooza thing at like 10 in the morning. Fucking
there you
ruled.
go. Yeah. Here's the thing: is
He's a
he's a badass guitarist.
killer guitarist.
He's a killer guitarist in a shitty band, and I wish he would just do more crazy cool shit. But anyway,
Rhythm section's great too.
yeah.
But-
We're getting into the latter half of the show, and I wanted to. We totally didn't even shoot the shit. So, Matt, you went out of town this week, and I want to know about all this.
Yeah, I went to a military base for the first time
Ever?
Ever.
You've never been
Ever.
doing like an air show out of
Nope.
Carswell or
Nope,
anything?
they wouldn't let me in. My credentials didn't let me in.
Well, it's a free
Got
thing.
denied.
It's a free thing that anybody could walk in on, and I don't understand that, but okay.
Yeah, I went to Lackland down in San Antonio.
A lot of
That's pretty cool.
a lot of B-52s, a lot of B-1
Yeah, my
bombers.
grandfather's B-24 Liberator was down there. It was pretty cool.
Is that on display?
Hmm.
You know what?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the crazy thing about my grandfather?
No.
We go out to Alabama, or we go to Florida. We're going to Disney World one year, but this is the first time ever we stop in Alabama at the Battleship Alabama,
Yeah.
and out front they have a bunch of hardware. They have a B-52 sitting out front, and my grandfather walks up and he's looking at the nose of it for a minute, and he's looking at all the stuff. He goes, "Yep, this is my old plane. It's here on display."
Watching us here.
Yeah, it
We're
was
over
cool.
here, and then we're
So, yeah.
actually here.
I want to
Never
talk
really
about
had
Meow Wolf
Oh,
though,
you're
because
trying
you
to say my
finally went
head's
out
fucking
there.
big?
I did. Have
Oh,
y'all?
shit.
Do y'all have
Not
any
trying.
interest in Meow Wolf?
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I definitely want to go to it with my wife.
I went on Friday with my son, and I don't want to give anything away because it's new. I went on a full hardcore rant on Facebook.
I saw that and loved it.
There's a bunch of assholes that are in our scene. A bunch of people we know. A couple of people we've had on this show that decided to be like, here, I'm gonna video a whole walkthrough of everything and give away all the big spoilers and
Ugh.
surprises. Yeah,
That's-
fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Fuck you. And
I don't
fuck
know who you
again.
are. If you're a close friend, not fuck you, but like if I don't know you, yeah, kind of fuck
Yeah,
you.
fuck you.
know what I mean?
That's not cool. That is not cool at all. And I hope
Hey,
you
as
get
someone who
hit.
watches haunted house walkthroughs, thank you.
But
Because you're a wuss.
as far as someone this is brand fucking new, and if I had paid money for
That
tickets
much,
that was
yeah.
going this week, you went the first week. I went the first week, and it's like, why spoil shit for people that haven't?
Well, it's the people that go to like very expensive arena shows and film the whole fucking thing
yeah.
from 500 feet away. It's like,
I want to get in
Hey,
that.
as
the
here.
someone
fucking
who
phone
can't
down, dude.
afford arena show tickets, thank you.
I want to get in that here in a minute.
Yeah.
If we have time, I
Fuck
have a
that.
whole thing. But Meow Wolf in Grapevine at Grapevine Mills is awesome. I went with my son, so there was no added substances to make it any more interesting. And I
Sure.
still walked out of there broken.
Like
Alright.
you get
Like,
short
just,
circuited.
Like, what the fuck just happened? We walked through the mall because we walked around the long loop because he wanted to go to the Lego store. We went to the Lego store. We went to a couple other stores, and I seriously walked through the mall going, this doesn't feel right.
That's awesome. That's great.
And one of the things I will say that wasn't said to us before we go in, there is a story, and there is a storyline you can follow if you don't want to just be like, hey, I'm here, let's just walk through this and look at the things. And I didn't know there was a story to follow till we're like 20, 30 minutes into it. And I was like, fuck, we'd have to start all the way back
So
over.
you're going to kind of choose to have it be a passive experience or like an active, you're
Like
really
you're
engaged
trying to
with it.
figure out.
That's cool.
Basically, it's like it's an unsolved mystery.
murder
type thing.
mystery.
Like you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
The Shadow
supposedly
knows.
it is connected to the Santa Fe one, as far as the
That's
story goes. And no one told us that going in, and I wish they would have, because I would have been
Yeah.
like, okay, let's follow this.
So you don't get
'Cause
like a program or
him and I
anything
could've done
walking
it.
in
Supposedly the girl before you walk in was supposed to tell us all this shit,
and just
but
didn't.
she was too busy commenting on the two ladies in front of us, their outfits and shit, and then just said,
That's understandable.
do what you want to.
We
have
talk
fun,
shit about
blah, blah,
outfits
blah.
all the time, dude.
What were the two
Yeah.
ladies' outfits like?
I don't know. They were just whatever. They didn't
What are
stand
their
out to me.
They
outfits?
didn't go as Limp
I-
Bizkit.
No. They didn't
Yeah.
go as Limp Bizkit.
I have never
But-
talked shit about anybody in my entire
It's
life.
Lying
I
absolutely,
have no idea.
it's
have
absolutely
no idea.
amazing. I'm glad we have it here. Houston's fixing to have one also. It's great and totally worth it.
Awesome.
It was a fun time for us to go through there. If I would have done the storyline, supposedly it's 3-4 hours. If you go with just
Just
walking
stacking.
through it like we did, it was just a couple hours.
Yeah.
So are you
um,
going to do the storyline when you go to stack?
Yeah.
You
I'm
are
gonna-
going to stick to it?
Yeah, but that's not going to work. But yeah, there is a stacking trip. I think a lot of us, there needs to be a big group of us that go on a stacking trip so that we can all help each other out.
That's
in
code
life.
for mushrooms.
Yeah. So Meow Wolf
I
was,
was
like,
was
stacking
freaking
trip.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Meow Wolf was
Stacking
freaking
trip?
fantastic.
Stacking trip. Don't do
Stacking.
that.
Oh, watch out.
There you go.
There's a lot of electronics here.
That's just a stacking trip.
It's just
Then
a
that
second.
night, that night I went to Dave's 50th
Oh, yeah.
and
How'd that
Guitars for
go?
the Spectacle. It was his birthday.
Did you end up going to
Crush
Creeping
it.
Death?
Happy
We went
birthday,
to
big
Crush
dog.
It. No, I didn't go to Creeping Death. It was fun. Crush It was cool.
Mm,
I was kind of like,
mm.
I was worried about what you said, but
Mhm.
when you get in there with all of us,
Yeah, yeah.
we went nuts.
It's Crush It,
I'm
a
sure.
Megadeth cover band.
No, it's a bunch of those virtual bays where you like
Let's crush
play
'em.
baseball, but like James was there, so we learned how to play rugby. We learned how to play
Tight.
cricket, and then we started. They pulled out a bunch of guns, and we started shooting groundhogs on the screen, and blood went everywhere. And it was fun.
It's aggressive.
That was a cool place. It's fun.
But you admit
No,
you could
fake
you could
groundhog.
set that up in your
Screen VR
garage in about 20
groundhog.
minutes.
It was we on
AI
dope.
Groundhog.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Was
We're
we
pro
on dope.
groundhog.
Oh, y'all are pro.
That's
groundhog?
good.
Pro groundhog.
If you're pro groundhog, then I highly recommend going to what's that state park?
Hell. Many
God
groundhogs
damn
in
it.
hell.
What's the state park?
You
I
come to
need
my
help.
backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no shit.
There's a bunch of groundhogs
There's
in my
like-
I do
backyard
have
I need to get
3D
rid of.
glasses, RoboTuner. God damn it! What's that state park?
Oh, hey, you want a
Never
progress
mind.
report on State Park talk real quick? Don't ever go to the Galveston State Park.
It's just I just need to go there and get stamped.
That's what I did,
I heard it
and they
sucked.
didn't have stamps. Basically, what they did was stamp a. Well, we didn't have our book with us, so they stamped They did have the stamp. They didn't have a badge,
Oh
and I went for the stinking badge.
no!
And,
And
no,
it looks bad because
It
some of the
blew.
camping places are like
blew.
right along the highway, and I was like, "This sucks."
for some reason, I thought it was the one that
That's
you
fair.
and Mandy want to go
That's
to,
those leaves
the
going?
one that's
Yeah, it is
south,
kinda
the
the
other
opposite,
direction.
right?
Way down
Be
south.
occasional
Right.
poke.
Yeah.
So I went
Like,
all
yeah, you
thinking it was
fucking
going to be
be
cool
alright,
because
dude.
you had already
Yeah,
said,
it's
no, this
making
place is supposed
a
to be
little
really cool.
armpit hairs
So
go
that's
up.
what I expected.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Garbage.
That's what I
Thanks for
use.
noticing.
Garbage.
my-
Garbage.
We have
I
a
just rub my armpit
guitarist
over
friend
your
that's going down there this
To
weekend.
the right one?
Way down south. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little trip this weekend that I think I'm gonna knock a few out.
get
Just a
some
little
get
trick.
some
I
get
gotta
some
get away.
stamps.
Little
I hate
trippy trip.
people. I'm gonna get some stamps. I hate people. I need to
Do
get
you
out.
hate people,
I
or is
do.
that just a cynical, easy to say?
hate
It's
people.
cynical.
No,
but
I do.
You
I
actually
love
I
hate them?
legitimately.
I love people.
I can't
I get frustrated
I'm-
by them, but I do.
I am
love
so
them.
ready.
love
I'm so
people.
ready for the wall of flames to take this thing out.
I-
No way.
Wow.
I'm like,
There's
what
a
am
bunch
I
of
doing
people.
after this? Who am I
You know what,
hanging out
man?
with? Let's keep hanging.
No, actually, this is
No,
a really,
I like being in the moment with the
this is
people
a
I'm with,
cool-
but I think we're the virus of this planet. Is
Okay.
basically what I
Oh,
This
think.
is
come
actually-
We're the
on. No,
virus.
we
Hold
own
on.
this planet.
I like this conversation. So this is a big
No,
thing.
this planet is a virus to us. We're just too tough for it.
Nah, man. Here's my big existential take. I never get to. I never really get to like
Do it.
expound on this
Wax
shit. So I'm gonna do
poetic.
it. I am gonna wax
I
poetic.
will.
'cause
I will
fucking
snap
hate
for
poets.
you.
Thank you.
You hate poets?
I hate poets. They're
I
full of
get
shit.
it.
Um, But
Now introducing to the stage, slam poet Scott White.
so
His poem "Humanity versus the Earth." All right.
tight,
So you
thank
hated
so, much. So
Thanks so much for
I
having
have
me.
this really
where the
weird.
sidewalk ends, some Shel Silverstein.
No. I have this weird thing with like the easy cynicism of being like I hate people, I hate Earth, I hate what we've done to it, I hate blah 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 blah. Like I think that is the because I used to feel that way too, and I used to say all of that, and I used to really like expound on that. For me, it started to feel too easy, and I
Mhm.
think that it is a thing where I get frustrated with the people that I love the most because you can feel that disappointment,
When
and you can translate that through anger more quickly than you can translating the sadness of being disappointed. I feel that way towards people generally, where it's like I love humans. I love the things we create. I love what we've had. I love generally all the stuff that we do.
Mhm. I
But-
get it.
But it's like we also do so much bullshit and lose the fucking plot of everything so frequently that you get exhausted by it. And
I think when I say I hate people, it's more like I hate the noise. I hate 20 people every day coming at me wanting something.
Yeah.
And I need to escape from the noise, and I hate that technology has made it easier for people to want shit from me.
yeah,
And I need a break from people wanting shit.
Yeah.
And I need a break from driving around this metroplex and seeing dumbass fucks on the road doing stupid bullshit.
getting,
Well, see, but
I need a
that's-
break from people yelling at me saying because I don't believe like them, then I'm a fucking terrible person
There's
all
some
the
of that,
time. I'm
too.
so sick of that.
that
it's like-
typically depends on the belief that you
This
have,
this
though.
you know what
in
though?
fairness,
Something I
Like-
noticed about
No, but if you see-
specifically the driving that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
okay, I drove both ways down and back on my little getaway,
Yeah.
and I can honestly say that DFW has gotten really bad. Like we are the land of assholes out of Texas because you drive through Texas, there's some places you're like, oh, that guy waved at me. What the hell? That's
Yeah.
weird. He's not trying
Yeah,
to pull
yeah.
his gun at
That's
me.
why I'm going to small town.
it's like you get past Plano,
Yeah.
and then it goes immediately like weirdly calm,
yeah.
and
Then
you
all of a
hit
sudden someone's
Plano on the
waving
way
at you.
back
You're
and
like, what?
fucked.
Or you
Right.
go out west, you're in Weatherford, and everybody's like, "Hey,
you
guy,
can
what's
I
tell
moved from
it's-
Fort Worth to Dallas, dude.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's fucking jarring.
Oh yeah,
Bar
right there,
jarring.
especially right there around where I used to live, Las Colinas, right there by the airport, where everything comes together.
literally
It's
where
like
I'm at
all
right
the
now.
assholes come together and
Yeah.
just fart on each other. But
I love the earth.
there is a difference
I hate it.
between
I said I hate it.
You said
the state of Texas and DFW as far as people's attitudes. I think
Oh, there is.
DFW is very we're a powder keg. I feel
I
like
can't figure out what the fuck's going on.
I feel like we're a powder keg.
Yeah.
DFW is a powder keg. Where Texas, we have our amount of assholes, but they seem to be concentrated more in DFW. It seems like. What's that saying?
Well, I don't.
The thing I
I hate
like-
the.
Earth.
Oh yeah.
That's what he said. He said, "I hate the Earth." I have this thing where, like, if my friends say something stupid
find
or
it on a
post
t-shirt?
something, or post something stupid online, I will either screenshot what they said or quote it and put it on a T-shirt and send it to them or wear it myself.
I'm
like-
also like not
like-
trying
That's a
to
genius
drive.
bit.
Like one
Yeah,
time, Michael
a lot.
Briggs. One
That's a
time,
genius
Michael
bit.
Briggs in a comment said, "Oh my God, I love drugs," and I screenshotted that comment, put it on a T-shirt, and wore it to my next recording session with Briggs.
It's a fucking great bit.
It's my favorite bit that I have. He won Employee of the Month, at his
I
last
did win
job,
employee
Getting a
at
whole
this
employee
job
of the month.
at the job that he has now,
and the
and
last one.
they made him this.
Like you flip your hair.
They
Like
made him this like plaque where he had to like say a couple things about himself that like he enjoys, his hobbies,
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's like a picture of him and his dog. It's like this whole thing. It's like
Yeah,
a big PDF file. I
Shout out Wicket.
had one of his coworkers send it to me, and I made it a T-shirt, and I wore it around him, and he was like, "I hate that." I was like, "What do you
Fucking,
mean?"
I hate it a lot.
I
Yeah.
have that T-shirt. I have
She-
your Employee of the Month plaque
She
as a
feels very
T-shirt.
special about that.
Yeah, it's my
It's like a
favorite
mom
bit.
having a
I have.
sticker on the back of the
I
car,
tried
you know
to
what I
make
mean?
my own Steely
I can
Dan
get a sticker.
T-shirt, and I put my
She's supportive in her own weird way.
I put my
you know?
I tried to make my own Steely Dan shirt. It said, "Learn to work the saxophone. I play it just how I feel. Drink Scotch whiskey all night long" on the front, and then on the back it said, "And die behind the wheel," and it had a fucking saxophone on the back. And they're like, "List your occupation," as I'm like checking out at Custom Ink. They're like, "Occupation," I go, "CEO." They're like, "Company," I'm like, "Steely Dan." And it said, like, so my occupation was CEO at Steely Dan. So I get this email back from Custom Ink. They're like, "Unless you can prove that you're really the CEO of Steely Dan."
By the way, if y'all haven't noticed, there's a weird theme of like, how much music in common do you think we have with each other
Not a
on
lot.
like a daily basis?
Not a
It's
lot.
like Slow Dive, anything shoegaze, and we're like, fuck
You're
yes,
cool, but
I
then
understand. you.
outside of that, it's different.
Look
Yeah,
Look, this is my background on my phone. Hold on, wait.
All right.
Wait. Do you know who that is?
no one
I
knows
saw
who
it was
that
942.
fucking
You
nerd.
don't know who that is?
942.
That's Michael
front
McDonald.
942.
Yeah.
That's Michael
McDonald,
McDonald's.
942.
Really? You keep
I'm
forgetting
quitting
who
this
Michael
band
McDonald
on this
is?
podcast, by the way.
I keep forgetting.
All right, so what I want to go back to what you were
I'm
originally
sorry, yeah,
saying a
yeah.
while back was like the reason to get out of here is because of someone just throwing it down your throat that you
You're a terrible person.
A terrible person, asshole, because you spout your opinion or you espout how you feel about something. That's another reason I'm going out of town. Is because fuck all these people that automatically, if you say something that's just borderline questionable, you're a fucking terrorist.
Oh yeah.
And you're a fucking anarchist, and you need to be thrown over here in the far right, and you need to put your Klan hood robe on.
Right.
Fuck those.
Meanwhile,
people.
you've never
I
voted
was
for a
like,
Republican in your life.
No, I was like,
yeah.
I'm just talking about something, and
Yeah.
just because it doesn't follow what your belief is, dumb,
Doesn't mean I'm evil.
dumb fucking idiot at the chat bar.
Yeah.
You know, just because
I
I'm
might
just
be
like,
the dumb idiot at the chat bar.
or I'm just asking you a question
possible.
about something, like
Yeah.
you know, why is the sky blue? And
Yeah.
you just suddenly throw me down this path. I got to get away from all these assholes. So that's one of the things too. I've got to.
I feel you, man.
Yeah,
I feel you,
yeah,
dude.
You gotta get.
Yeah.
You gotta get. You
We
gotta
need
get
to
away
go
from
drive
this.
out in the country and jack each other off one of these days.
He's just
Tomorrow?
looking for a little
What?
relief.
Huh? What?
Tomorrow?
Huh? Huh?
I mean, hey, dude.
There
Did
is
you see
a.
that documentary?
I'm not
You
going
don't
to
give
get
your
into this
friends
this week
the-
because
the
it's too
Jay?
chaotic.
Abducted in
Yeah,
plain
just
sight
put notes
documentary?
because I'd like to hear this.
Because I have something that the DOJ put out that automatically puts our podcast on a fucking watch list. And we're
Hell
done.
no. Let's
Well,
go.
just period.
let's
we'll
tab-
have to talk about it next
let's
week.
table
We'll talk
that.
about it next week.
One of the things I do want to talk about, like with you guys in here, is the T Swift effect.
T Swift.
Have y'all heard about any of this?
Is that a
This is big thing that's come
testosterone
out
shot
this-
you can get
No.
fast? A
Oh, the
fast
amnesia?
testosterone shot you
No,
can get?
this has come out this week. First off, let's start it off with like this is considered the summer of status concerts. That if you're
Status.
able to go to see Taylor Swift in concert or Beyonce in concert
Mm.
or Metallica in
You're an
concert,
elite.
you're an elitist. And now this is people are changing their vacation schedules or not even taking a vacation so they can afford to go
Sorry
to these
about that. That's
concerts.
Tootsie, bro.
So there's a whole ordeal. Like a bunch of people have put out these articles about how like Taylor Swift, it costs so fucking much
Sure.
in a recession economy that to go to these concerts that people aren't doing a regular vacation. Instead, they're flying
To
to
a
either
concert?
a point to see her or
Yeah.
they're spending a shit ton of money if they live in the city where she's playing just to see this concert and just to be a part of it and just to post look at me, I'm at this concert. I got to go see Taylor Swift.
Like a
You
status
didn't."
symbol.
I got
So-
the tickets because getting Taylor Swift tickets already was a big ordeal.
I'll put it to you this way: the most I've ever paid for tickets to anything,
Yeah.
I saw Soundgarden and Mastodon.
Uh huh.
I was front row for Soundgarden, and that cost me $200. Any other experience I'm going to have is not going to top that. So if it's more than $200, you better have brought Neil Peart back from the dead so
Yeah.
that I can see Rush again.
You want to know mine is, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, $350.
Was that how much it was
Was
up
that-
there?
I believe
With
Robo
Run the
Tuner,
That's a
wasn't it?
lot.
Yeah, it was Run the Jewels
I mean,
too,
that's
and
a-
it was at
that's-
Madison Square Garden. So
That's
Yeah.
fucking tight as hell. But yeah, it's like if it's something like that and it's under $500, I understand. Or if it's like a festival thing, I get it. But
I
like,
spent my life savings to see Roxy Music.
yeah, see, that's silly.
I spent
Oh yeah, they were
I s-
$350
I
each.
spent
To see
my
Roxy.
I don't
and
remember
it's funny
that.
that it's Rage.
Roxy
Yeah.
Music is my favorite band of all
That was a
time.
good night.
And
Oh,
I had
awesome night. Wouldn't
I
trade it for
had
the
a
world.
whole savings account for a motorcycle,
Fantastic.
and I spent $1,700 on my third
damn,
row
dude.
dead center ground floor ticket to see Roxy Music.
Jesus
And you know what?
Christ.
Never ever. There's
And
no
you know
band
what?
I like that.
You
much.
know
No
what?
one.
It was the
My
best time
favorite
of my
band, I
life.
wouldn't spend that much.
Hey, you guys can fucking hate all you want.
I'm not hating.
All
I'm
I
saying
know is
it's
I
the
like
cost,
Roxy
bro.
Music better than you like any of the bands you like, so
That-
that's fine.
That's
That must be
100%
true.
truth. Yeah. you're right on
My-
that.
like,
That Mastodon show, I had a buddy that went to the same show, sat
Yeah,
like fourth row, and got. I don't know how he scored these tickets. And it was at Red Rocks. Oh, because it was a single ticket and paid $90.
Well, here's
fucking
the
rules.
problem with doing these shows like
Awesome.
this, like they're bitching about the summer of these status
Or no, it
concerts.
might have been Jerry Cantrell.
is
and
because
Mastodon.
They're afraid this is going to start being a thing with these big name artists, and that
I think
it's
that's been
all
a thing
going to
for a
be
while, dude.
a selfie thing. It kind of died
Yeah.
off with COVID, but yeah, here's the crazy ass shit that went. RoboTuner, I'd pay $60 to see The Cure. Fuck that. Here you go. Here you go. I'll go see The Cure for $60. That's no big deal to me.
They play for 3 hours and they only play
Yeah.
great shit. They
3 hour
fucking
show.
rule.
It's a
Yeah.
fucking great set,
That's the fucking Cure, dude.
and it's The Cure. Here, take my $60
Big Cure
all fucking day long.
Is he upset about it?
I don't know. He put that in the room. I mean,
Oh.
like that's not expensive to me.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's when you start breaking
spent
up.
$260
It's when you start breaking a
here.
bill. I'm starting like.
Bro, I think I paid 50 or 60 bucks to see Converge one time.
Really?
I mean, it was that fucking studio at what did they call
Yeah,
it?
we were
Echo,
there.
Canton
Echo.
Hall,
With
whatever.
Def Heaven?
What was that 40? No, it was Neurosis and then.
Oh no, yeah.
oh
with
yeah,
Neurosis.
no,
we were
that
there
was
for that.
Was that
Bomb
40 bucks,
Factory,
50
wasn't it?
bucks,
The-
something like that.
And
next to the Bomb
it's
Factory.
the studio,
right?
but at the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
they were still
Yeah.
calling Canton Hall.
Yeah, same
That was
place
a
across the road.
loud show too.
That was a good
Dude,
loud.
the
The
fucking-
Neurosis.
The
They were
sound, the
loud.
mix in that room was fucking dog shit. But
So the people
seeing
that are,
Converge.
what's causing issues with this, the whole Taylor Swift thing, is it's affecting Disney.
how?
So what they're saying is that the crowds are so much lower in 2023 than they were in 2021 and 2022, because people are spending their money.
Instead of going
They're
on
not
vacation
going to
at
Disney
Disneyland.
World on
Yeah.
vacation. They're spending their money to see Taylor
Well,
Swift.
fuck, man, Disneyland's like $5,000 if you want to go, and God
Yeah.
forbid you have fucking kids you're taking
Like
with
Disney
you.
can
Yeah.
handle the hit, bro.
Yeah,
I
they
think
can
they're gonna
I mean,
definitely
honestly,
handle it.
dude,
I wonder if it's
Fuck
going to
Disney.
affect sporting
Like-
events. If they're getting affected by that
We'll
type of
see
thing.
once NFL fires up.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
we're
like,
on the verge of it. firing
economy
up.
shit, you raise the prices of everything. You raise the prices of touring generally. It's like my attitude towards this is the same as it's always been. When times have been good, times have been bad. Fuck it. Like you can pay $20 to go see fucking Frozen Soul,
Mm.
fucking
Yeah.
Gel, fucking Jesus Piece, fucking Zulu, fucking any of these bands. You can go and pay fucking $20 to $30 to see the best fucking bands that are going to be around while you're fucking alive. Pay the money to go see them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this shit. You can go to like
Instead of one big show, see a
Dude,
bunch of really awesome shows.
you can fucking pay $1,000 to go and see Taylor Swift one time in an uncomfortable auditorium in a seat too small for you
with
probably 'cause
too
you're a
many
fat
fucking
American.
people,
me.
and it's a
Yeah.
whole fucking bullshit of trying
Well,
to
and
get
it's
in
like,
there
it's
and
cool.
do this
I'm not,
and
like,
do that.
You know, those shows can be fun. They're whatever, but it's like, you know, I went and saw the fucking Misfits. You know, that was cool. But like,
Was it great?
I had a great time.
You had a great time, but was it a great show?
I mean, they're fucking like 50-something-year-old, 60-something.
If you had a great time, it was a great show.
There you go. Boom.
But No,
I think
I'm
that's true.
breaking the.
It's as
I'm
good-
breaking apart from
Dude,
how
they had
you
Dave
felt.
Lombardo playing drums
man,
for
if
him.
you
It's
had
as
a
good
great
as I ever
time,
expected it to
if
be.
you-
Were the
you had a great
visuals
time, it
great?
was a
Was
great
the
show.
show actually great?
Yeah,
A
I'd say.
great show to me is I went and saw Pink Floyd at
That's
Tech Stadium.
That's
That's a
different,
great show.
though. Like that's not what I expect out of the Misfits. They had a big pumpkin on stage. I'm happy. You
That's
know what
it.
I mean?
Okay, you're good.
No,
Okay.
If you had a great time, it's a great show.
They resurrected Lee Ving and
I
brought
don't-
him
I don't
out
agree
on
with
stage.
that.
I'm still trying
you
to
know?
find this new
How do you
release
not
from
agree
Limp
with that?
Bizkit.
Dude, like
I don't
anytime that I leave a show and I'm like, wow,
I've
that
seen
was
some terrible
awesome.
shows that were good shows.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was great.
But that's also I'm asking from a technical aspect. Was it a great show versus your opinion of having
Okay, but,
fun
like,
hearing
dude,
songs?
Those
That's
are
two different things.
Those are two different things.
Those are the
I'm a-
two different things I'm
dude,
asking.
Dude, I'm a punk fan. I can watch a band go up there and bomb.
That's
but
not
still,
the question
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
asking.
not the thing. We're talking
That's
about
not the
production
question
value
I'm
in, like,
asking.
arenas.
I asked if
It's
it
a
was
different thing.
technically a good show.
I think it was.
Was it technically a good show?
thought
Was
so.
it a good visually displayed show? What did they have fun? I wasn't there.
I felt that it was good.
I've
Lighting-
read reviews, and
lighting
a
was
lot of
good, the
reviews were
screens
like,
were- I mean, you know,
I
I think-
have a different.
Man, did you
Yeah,
guys
your
say
ex-
there
your
was a new Limp
expectations
shows-
of
Bizkit?
that shit is
Yeah,
release?
like
plays a large role in what you think is good. Because like,
yeah,
I don't expect every band to fucking come out and be like, you know,
Pink
Tool
Floyd.
with 1,000 or like Tool with 1,000 lasers and because to me, Tool would be the most boring show I could go to. I don't give a
everybody just stands there.
Dude, what
I
about
don't-
Pussifer? Pussifer, that's pretty.
fuck.
That was
Honestly, kind of fuck them too. But like, here's my
Alice
every
Cooper is-
single
Anything
person
Maynard
I
touches.
know, everybody I know that goes and sees Tool, every big Tool fan, always says, "You got to see him live. Fucking incredible live." I've been listening to that band since I was 8 years old. I don't give
So
a
what?
fuck about seeing
I've
them
seen
live.
them every time they've come to Fort
Dude,
Worth. or
I
I am a
Dallas,
Tool
Fort
freak
Worth.
I
too.
do not.
DFW.
I can't imagine that it's worth the money. It's dudes standing in one spot, playing very precisely.
Mhm.
I don't give a fuck about that.
You know what's fun?
That does nothing.
Hold
for
on.
me.
The last show we went to,
I saw Hall & Oates. It did a lot for me.
Oh,
the
Hall & Oates.
last.
I'd like to see Hall &
Yeah.
Oates.
Oh, they were great.
The last show we went to, I think we spent more time finding fuck ups than we did enjoying the show. Like we're
Right.
like,
Well, why? Why
They
do you go
were
to a
fucked
show and
up, man.
nitpick it? Like, just let them do their thing.
because
and
it's
just try to
Tool,
enjoy
like
yourself.
you just said.
Well, but they are.
Tool's
That's their
precision.
whole bit, right? Is we're fucking the most
Yeah.
precise prog band. But it's like, yeah, if you're playing fucking Melvin's riffs that are glorified for fucking 20 years, whatever. It's a
All
weird
right,
thing.
so
Is that your description
so
of
here's
Tool?
the deal.
yeah, it's they ripped off the fucking Melvins and just made the songs longer. And that's
If I can
basically
go
Tool.
back to the whole thing with the Taylor Swift thing, here are the numbers.
Email Deep Red on that, not us.
On March
Yeah, fucking
17th,
come at me.
Taylor Swift started her
Fight me.
Euros tour.
Yeah.
Eras?
Eras tour.
Euros?
Whatever.
Euros.
I saw
They
it as
only
Euros, yeah.
paid her. In
I've had a little bit to
euros.
drink. Sorry.
Her
Her
Euros
Eras
tour.
tour. Her Eras tour.
Her anus tour.
Okay.
We're all getting
What?
fighty, dude.
At Disney.
We
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
Disney, we get mad.
Yeah, I'm like, ah!
At Disney World, before 3/17, the 2023 crowds were 5% lower. After March 17th, they were 25% lower.
God damn, that's brutal.
That's a hell of a jump.
Well, but didn't
Uh,
they? Wasn't their fucking hotel experience for the Star Wars thing like 12 grand or some shit?
Yeah,
I
like
think
that?
it still is, isn't it?
No, they
Oh,
They
closed.
shut it down.
They shut
'cause
it
They already
down.
shut it
They
down?
shut
Who
that
the
fucking
fuck can
hotel
pay
up.
for that? And like, why would you for a 2-day
Although,
experience where they have a drink that's under?
There's some cosplay YouTube player that went there like every weekend to walk through it. You're just like, fuck you, bitch.
Is that the one that had the write up in like Rolling Stone? Like everybody was freaking out about it.
Yeah.
They've already pulled the plug.
They
I mean,
pulled the
it's
plug. They,
cool
they shut it down.
concept, but like, goddamn, dude.
So the average cost of a fan attending the Eras concert tour was $1,327. That's travel, outfit, ticket, merch, more, everything figured in.
Outfit? I love how outfits
Okay.
included.
If
That's Taylor Swift fans.
But like,
If
it's like, no,
someone's
she ain't
calling-
looking at your outfit.
is there a phone calling?
That's what I keep
Uh,
hearing.
I keep hearing it too.
That's
Dang,
so
dang.
weird.
So
No
you
idea.
take that times 52 U.S. concerts that have an average of 54,000 tickets sold, which is more here at the Death Star. That was like 100,000 tickets
Right.
sold or whatever. But anyway, 52 times 54 times $1,327 is $3.7 billion.
What?
That's how much her tour's bringing in, is $3.7
Yeah,
billion
dude.
dollars. Okay. Disney theme parks earn about 28 billion, or earned 28 billion in 2022. They're seeing almost a 40% decrease this year.
Yeah.
After that tour started.
Guys, save your money. Go see fucking hardcore bands. They're better.
go see cool bands in small venues
Dude,
that are
Go
before
see
they blow
fucking
up.
Tribal Gays.
Wait,
They
like,
fucking rule.
Our friend Johnny Govea posted something in Facebook. He's like, you know, have you guys ever seen a band before they broke
Hey,
it
but, like-
internationally famous? And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't even want to start that list. I've seen a zillion bands.
Hey,
Before they broke
if
it
I may be
famous.
like the devil's advocate here, I mean, if you shoot down big production stadium shows like that much, like if you really make it your ethos to fucking kill that thing, you're gonna lose a lot. Because I mean, like let's go back in time to like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I mean, stadium shows were a staple. I mean, my mom's first show was Led Zeppelin in a stadium.
And how
And
much did it cost?
Okay, well, if you're calculating for inflation, I mean, probably about the same.
I know I've got
and
a
wait,
ticket
so-
stub
so
for Led
here's-
Zeppelin at Tarrant County Convention Center
here's-
when they came through, and it was $4.
But here's my
crazy.
point. Here's my point. I mean, you can get nosebleed. I got nosebleed share tickets for $2. So like, what I'm saying is like, I don't want to kill stadium shows. I think that there's something beautiful about stadium shows, and I think there's something moving. Like the most moving shows I've ever the most moving show I've ever seen was seeing the Who Turns 50 at American Airlines
That's
Center.
was at that show. That was a
And
good show.
I left weeping, and I wasn't even a Who fan when I walked into that stadium.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
yeah, and I just, we might not be fans of Taylor Swift, and we might be outraged by her ticket prices, and yeah, but we also need to recognize that we're coming from a perspective of people who aren't Taylor Swift fans. Like, she is arguably the biggest recording artist in the world today, and thank God we have a recording artist that is that big in the world today that's writing real songs and working with bands like The National. Like, The National is my favorite band of all time, and The National's bassist is her producer. Like, and I'm speaking from someone who couldn't give a lying rat's ass about Taylor Swift. But what I'm saying is, yes, her ticket prices are outrageous, but so are The Cure's.
But
And-
no, the Cures weren't. Period.
But a lot of them were.
The
And a-
Cures weren't,
but-
and I'm going to be the devil's advocate because I work for this corporation.
Wait,
Is
so
how much money goes to Ticketmaster Live Nation
But,
on top of
hey,
this shit.
look, I'm not trying to get into
we're
the.
And they
we're not
own the
vouching for
outlets.
the company
I'm not.
selling
I'm
the
not
tickets.
trying to get into the
But
nitty
that's
gritty,
what
and
happens with
I'm also
the
not
Eras
trying-
tours. That's
but
what
dude,
I'm.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm also not trying to like.
I was trying to
support-
finish my whole spiel with the Eras tour because that is part of what's adding up to this attack on Disney is how much Live Nation is sucking away from them. Out of that 3.6 billion, Live Nation has taken 1.8 on top of it.
It doesn't shock me at all.
That's
Doesn't shock me at all.
ridiculous. It doesn't shock you, but and
Yeah.
it shouldn't shock all of us. But that's the thing is
I never
These
experienced the
giant
phase of time
production
where they
shows-
weren't a part of it, though. You know what I mean? Like, my concert going experience since I was a kid.
But I never,
been that the
not
whole
until lately have I had to pay $50 of handling fees on top of a ticket.
Totally. But I mean,
I,
But
used
here's the
to it
reality-
was $5 or $10, and now you're at the point to
Yeah.
where, you go to Lollapaloozas in the past. I went to every fucking Lollapalooza that was
That's
a
like
touring
$20.
Lollapalooza,
yeah.
and the most I ever spent was front row for Lollapalooza 93, 94, one of them, $75 for front row.
Yeah.
And only $10 was handling fee to Ticketmaster. But now you're paying almost half the ticket, if not 3/4 of the ticket, in handling fees.
Yeah.
And shit that goes to Ticketmaster Live Nation.
Well, at a certain point, there's going to have to be some kind, and this is one of those things again where it's like you run into that funny thing with like, guys who have a fucking weird hard on for capitalism in the worst senses of it, where it's like, does Ticketmaster provide enough of a service for me to where I think that they deserve that amount of money? Fuck no. But the reality of the situation is that like you have a thing people are emotionally attached to, like Taylor Swift's music, right? Or like The Cure, or like fucking, we just had the Blink-182 show that came through. Like, people get emotionally attached to these things. They're going to pay the money if they have it, right? And even sometimes if they don't, they will find a way to fund it.
Figure out a way to do it, but then
And-
it just shoves you further into it.
It does, but that's
I'm
the
going to live on the street.
Yeah,
so
but
I can
that's the-
see Blink-182.
But that's the thing that's fucked up is I think that like the culture surrounding it is it's a double-edged problem. You're not going to have an American, stock traded company go, yeah, we're cool with cutting our profits in half by reducing this. There's no reason for them to do it if there's not a legal incentive and if people are still buying the tickets.
The
Until
problem is
the artists drop out, the fans drop
Yeah.
out from buying it, or the laws do something about it, it's a moot point.
Well, the law's not going to do anything about it because they just tried to do it. 3 months ago we reported on that. They went to the whole Capitol Hill and everything about all that,
Sure.
and then the hidden fees and all that shit. Biden just pushed that aside.
Well, dude, look
and,
at what they did to radio. You were talking about radio earlier today.
Yeah.
Like, there used to be the laws that you could only own a certain number of radio stations per region.
Yeah, that doesn't
They
happen
shot
anymore.
that.
Killed that.
Yeah, Clinton killed that, and then after that, it's like
Clear Channel just started going
Clear Channel.
nuts.
right. And so now that's when you're like, hey, why do I hear the same 5 songs every day? Well, there's a real good fucking reason for that.
If
man.
if I was going to see a band and I knew that 95% of the ticket value was going to that artist and they're on a giant stadium tour or reunion tour or arena tour or whatever, and I knew that was going to them, I'd pay it straight up. No problem.
Sure.
But knowing that
Taints the experience.
75% of the ticket is not going to them and the only way they're making money is by merch is
No.
Well,
bullshit.
there's
And the
merch
only
rights
one
too.
Wait,
a lot of
but that's why the ticket prices are so high. Is because they've been bought out by these companies like Live Nation, right?
that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
Hold on, that charge like that take that amount of percentage. So that's what drives up ticket prices is so that the artist still gets paid something.
But that's not how the numbers work. I work in that game and I've seen all the charts and everything, and this is what this story is going to. They're not getting that. The artist isn't getting that. The artist is making money as a little bit off ticket sales because you still have to pay venue fee. You still have to pay production costs.
And
You
backline.
still have to pay
Yeah.
everything up front. And
So
Live
Live Nation,
Nation
when
does
you
these
listen to
stupid
this,
fucking
we're
360 deals.
We're upset.
No, we are mad. And the problem is
Mad
that
as hell.
after,
We're not going to take it anymore.
after COVID,
No. we're
After
not gonna
COVID?
take it.
they have almost tripled the cost of all your handling fees.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean,
Because they're trying to make up money since then. And
well,
it's just
post-COVID,
bullshit.
I think COVID is like a weird cultural reset point too. And like this has been going on for a while, but there are things I'm worried about in terms of like general ownership of anything, right? Like right to repair laws, your ownership of actual, like if I buy a digital product of anything, right? Like a video game or a movie or anything like that, you're not going to own shit. There's companies buying up all the homes, so we're not going to own that. There's fucking
We've talked
you
about that a
stream all
zillion
your
times.
music. So to me, it's like, again, there is a certain point where until people collectively look at this problem and say, hey, I'm going to circumvent this by not providing my money to that, and I'm going to provide the money over here instead, the problem will not be solved because we do not live in a country that is going to regulate it.
No.
Period. And you have too many people who are going to vehemently argue against regulation against it because they're too fucking, woo, it's freedom, it's capitalism, as you're getting fucked. Which, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
You know.
It's just,
It's silly.
it's a nightmare, and it's weird how it's starting to affect.
But thank God we solved the problem here tonight.
No, we didn't.
Live Nation can hear it, hear my
No.
voice, and go fuck themselves with it.
No, we
perfect.
didn't. We didn't.
And solve a goddamn
We
thing.
didn't solve a goddamn thing because Ticketmaster's still going to be Ticketmaster.
It's okay, dude.
What Pearl Jam fought them in the '90s and nothing
We got
happened
fucked.
and got
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah. That tour got
All
fucked
these
up.
other bands have tried to fight them and gotten fucked.
So when we're
They're just
playing
growing.
Madison Square Garden, remember that
All right.
Garden. When we're playing Madison Square Garden,
Will y'all put me on the guest list?
fucking
Yeah, can we
dude,
get-
done.
Now what?
Yeah, absolutely done.
We just want photo credentials. That's it. That's
Can I
that's
get
how
a-
we get.
can I
all
get a
this
beer
shit.
ticket?
Yeah,
One
you
beer
get
ticket?
One
Okay,
beer
cool.
ticket.
One
Yeah.
beer ticket. But it's only Lone Star.
So Jason Aldean released
the
a
catch.
video.
Which they magically
Dude,
now sell at
don't.
Madison
Let's not
Square
go.
I'm not
let's,
going to that.
Let's not go to the Jason Aldean because I have too much. I have too many comments about that fucking pussy.
We've gone late. The only thing I
Fuck
want
that
to
guy.
talk about is well, there's two things. Oklahoma's building a $2.1 billion theme park that's going to rival Disney.
Well, aren't they building
That's
a
what I was
Universal
telling you about.
Studios like in Plano?
Frisco.
Yeah, but it's for kids.
That's
It's
what
not-
I
That's
remember.
got a Super Mario World. It ain't
remember I
gonna be
told you
kids
I
for
ran
long.
into
I'm
a
gonna be in
guy
that
at the
bitch.
lake
They
at
built a Zelda
Arkansas
area. It's
that's
done.
working on
Are
that.
they really?
I can't.
No, it's all Mario.
He
right
said
now,
that Disney's building a bunch up there.
Well, Disney
That's
said
a-
they're
They're
buying
buying a bunch
land.
of they're buying a bunch of land. I bet it has to do with the same. Is it
DeSantis'
Durant
shit.
East or is it
It's northeast. It's going to compete with
Branson and all that?
Branson. It's going
Branson.
to be called the Heartland,
Okay.
and it's
but-
supposed to be as
oh,
big
Bet
as
you
good.
Magic
Kid Rock
Kingdom.
will play there.
Yeah.
There's your
Now
Kid
you'll
Rock
have a
show.
good excuse to go to Oklahoma that isn't just to get through it.
Or weed.
Yeah, well, if you have the card.
And the only other thing is to just let people know, Skinny Puppy are doing their final tour.
Are they
They're
coming
done.
Are you
They're
the old
DFW?
guy?
They're doing their
What?
first time.
You skinny puppy?
No.
Have they announced the dates yet?
They
Is
have. They're only
DFW.
doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're only doing 10 shows on this final tour, and
Well,
one
they're-
is
Small
They're,
final
they're
tour.
substantial live.
in Dallas
I've heard that. Yeah.
at House of Blues.
I'm in.
Yep, I'm in.
House of Blues is not something you want to support if you don't like Live Nations.
She makes a point there.
Just
Yeah.
heads
That
up.
is
This is a
true.
good point.
If you're,
Well-
if you're super against Live Nation,
But
don't
see,
go
the
to House
love,
of
the
Blues.
love for a band is
Yeah.
going to override
Yeah.
your
The love to
ethics.
see Skinny Puppy.
Yeah, yeah.
Just override that.
I
See,
think
but
you
that's
just
what's
made
fucked
your
up about
argument
it, though.
there.
Yeah, that's
Your
it.
love of bands is going to fuck up your ethics
Which
every
is
time
what
with
I
that
was
shit.
saying.
That's what
I know, but that's the
she just
problem.
made her argument.
I know,
Perfect.
I know.
exactly.
Luckily,
There you go.
these
Same
these
brain.
tickets. I already
Yeah,
looked at
there you
these
go.
tickets.
Full circle. I
But
won.
these aren't expensive.
They're not expensive
See,
at all.
exactly.
They're cheap ass tickets.
How much
The
are they?
Skinny puppy's not
Is-
getting paid.
Have they been
Yeah,
30 bucks?
exactly. It's the same
Perfect.
ratio. It-
$30
it's-
bucks, but you'll have a $20 handling fee, so it's $50 bucks.
50?
It's a $50 ticket.
See how I won?
I see.
You did win. I saw what you did.
There's only
Yeah.
one venue here, one major venue
there's not.
in North Texas.
They could play another place. They could play.
American Airlines Center you're
they-
talking about?
No, there's
Skinny
one
Puppy?
major venue that is not a Live Nation venue in North Texas.
Which one?
Bomb Factory is not a Live Nation venue. It's
Uh,
not exclusively a Live Nation venue.
They've done like because for like Merciful Fate and shit, I think that was all like Access.
Exactly.
AXS.
And same with Beach House. Beach House
I
was
don't
a
know if
Live
they're
Nation event.
connected, but
So no-
they go
so
back
around.
and forth
Exactly,
on who's
so
not.
they- but so that's the
but
thing,
a
they're
band
not
like this
exclusive.
that signs a 360 deal, they are.
But what I'm saying
If you sign a
is-
360
well, I
deal,
already
you
made my
are
point.
the venue.
I don't have a point.
The only one that is not is the place in Grand Prairie.
I'm gonna be 100%. You know, we were talking about like brutal honesty earlier. This is one of those conversations where I don't have a lot to add. This is one of those like I think it is.
It sucks.
well,
It
my
fucking
attitude towards
sucks.
it is it is what it is. Me getting in any way
is
caring
what
about
it
it is
is.
like I'm gonna end up paying the money if Iron Maiden comes to town.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
bad thing. That's
But
what
that's
kills
how
us.
they know they get you is like
Yeah.
you give a shit about the band, you want to
You're
see
fucked.
the band.
You're fucked.
I mean, dude,
Everything in this world is fucking us.
we've already kind of talked
Everything.
about
Hey man,
if Slow Dive
I
comes by
started
and
that
it's like
earlier.
100
I was telling
fucking
Scott I
$150,
fucking
we're
hate
going.
everything.
Well, so did I pick around.
Yeah.
I'm staring into the
That's
void
fine.
always.
We're
The
open.
black
That's the
void.
last time I saw
It's
him.
where I feel
Is
comfortable.
Slow Dive coming through?
No,
No.
we're being optimistic.
The last
They
time
were
they
gonna
came
open
through,
for them
They
when
were
they
at
do.
Granada. I saw them.
Y'all
that
should.
Was that the last time they
It'll
came
be good.
through? Was Granada?
Yes.
I did
Okay.
not get to go to that.
Other than that, it was down in Austin.
I did get to see My Bloody Valentine.
Did
at the
they
Verizon
not play
Theater,
Fortress Fest?
No, they did not.
That
Fortress
was
Fest
that was the
canceled.
other one that
I
they were
thought
mentioning.
Slow Dive was the first
did
year
play
of
it.
Fortress Fest.
Slow Dive played Fortress.
Played Fortress
They
Fest
were
the
on
very
the-
first
But
year.
that was
Forward?
before. That was absolutely before they played Granada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I said before that it was
But they
Fortress Fest, right?
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry, I
They
misunderstood
played
you.
that island, that artsy island, where I got paranoid because I thought the cops were coming after me after I smoked out the porta potty.
What year's that? 27
Smoking out a porta potty.
2017.
Yeah,
2017.
we were
is
so
when that
innocent
happened.
then.
So young. That was
So
the first
young.
Run the Jewels year.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a good
And,
time.
Those first two Run
Another
the
one.
Jewels records are the shit. They're
Mhm.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good.
It's been fun.
good.
I'm
It's
done.
been fun. I love what I've heard of what you're putting out, man. Sounds fucking amazing. I'm glad you
love it.
brought Leah.
yeah.
It's
Leah,
great.
thank you
It's
for
fucking
showing up.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Before we head out, I can show you guys at least one of the ones we got from
Oh, yeah.
Jim back because we got finals back.
I can't
for it.
wait to hear and see the the live package.
Oh yeah, Russo said this is a big
Tannehill.
hog night. It's going to be Helmet at Tannehill's.
Big hog night.
That will be a big hog night.
Helmet in the stockyards. That's
Yeah.
weird, but yeah, we'll go.
Helmet fucking rules.
10.
Yeah.
14.
I've never seen Helmet before.
Me neither.
You
It's a
haven't
weird
really?
omission.
Never.
Oh, I
It's a
thought
weird
we.
omission.
I was being facetious.
Wait, didn't you
I've
go to
never
the
seen
show with us?
I think I've seen Helmet more than any other band that's come
We
through.
were at the tree shows, right?
Right. Yeah.
Last time they came through, and we were all going nuts.
What's the
I
band
don't
you've seen the
know.
most often? The
Me?
most number of times, yeah.
Have you seen Mastodon more than Metallica yet?
Black Rope Motorcycle Club.
Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Really?
Mine's between
That's
Mastodon.
awesome because
I've
that
seen Black Rope Motorcycle Club like 6 times.
I've
My-
seen them
my
once,
answer's
and I
better
want
than
to
all
see
y'all
them so
motherfuckers.
bad
Which is-
again.
Def
They're so
Leppard.
good.
They're great.
I mean,
11
that's been my
times.
favorite band since
Wow.
I was in the 5th grade.
11
Mine's
times.
either
I
Mastodon
love that band. That's
too.
cool.
or
That's cool shit.
Metallica. I've seen a lot.
They
Uh,
came. They
Metallica
played
once.
Austin.
I traveled to see
Probably
them in
Mastodon,
Oklahoma,
though.
and
I've seen
Austin,
Mastodon
and
a
Houston,
lot.
and
I only
San
saw Mastodon the
Antonio.
one time.
I've seen Deftones a lot.
I've seen Deftones a few. The last time I saw Deftones, I went with my wife to the show at it was them and Gojira,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and
We were
we-
That's where we were at.
we bought
Got
those
it.
we bought those seats pre-COVID, and I shelled out some pretty good money for
The
those.
lighting was so cool. at that
Speaking
show.
of which, if anybody ever like actually pays attention to this, like just wants to hear like songwriting shit, Box of Memories, the first song on the EP, that opening chord is forever the Deftones chord to me. It's just a Be Quiet and Drive
Yeah,
chord.
the weird.
Like that, like if you're in drop D, 0, 9, 11 kind of thing there,
Mhm.
that move works every fucking time. Do it as frequently as you can. But I
Foo Fighters
got
does a lot.
super drunk as my wife was coming home because I knew we lived like 5 minutes from the pavilion, so I just got super drunk. We ended up in there. I was handing out nice shirts like they were fucking going out of style, dude. Just random guys in Gojira shirts from 2007, and I'm like, dude, sick shirt. It's real cool. Saw him back at the Profit Bar, bro.
You get them high
Yeah,
fives.
Way of All Flesh tour, shit was sick.
Yeah.
High five.
You know, and I'm just being that guy all night, but fuck, I love the Deftones.
What's the one you've seen the most?
I was trying to think.
I know we ever talk about this.
Mastodon's got to be getting close now. I know
I got
you're.
aged out of a Mastodon show when I was 14.
I got.
Oh really?
Gypsy Tea
Yeah.
Room. It was like around the time Leviathan had come out. I was super into like them, and High on Fire just had Blessed Black Wings come out and all that. And I was getting super into that shit in Genghis Tron. I got fucking
Oh,
dude, I
Genghis
got
Tron.
underaged on
Yeah,
a fucking
we've done this
Mastodon
before.
show, a High on Fire show, a Genghis Tron show, all during like my favorite periods of all those bands, and it fucking still mad
yeah,
about
you're
it.
youngin.
A youngin.
I was
Appreciate that youngst,
Mastodon. Huh?
that youth,
gone now, bro.
the youngst youth.
I need to start adding those up then.
Yeah.
It was either Pantera for a while, but the most is Nine Inch Nails
No
because I went on
fucking Pantera, brother.
I went on tour with them. so-
Terror. I've seen
Oh,
Terrors
Terra.
pretty a lot, but I think Mastodon and Metallica are probably the two.
Oh, for
Oh,
talking about
Dillinger.
bands we've gone on tour with.
I've
Gene
seen
Loves
Dillinger a
Jezebel,
few
I've seen the
times.
most.
Yeah, no shit.
I've
Yeah,
seen Gene Loves Jezebel
like 80 times.
There you go.
freaking 31 times.
Yeah.
Then when I was working at the radio station, I saw Seven Dust like 65 times.
Or the Toadies.
Oh, that's
Mm.
another one I've seen a lot
But I
of.
don't count them.
Why?
I don't know, because I saw them
'Cause
like
you hate Todd
every
now?
fucking
If
weekend
we're
when I was
also
a
talking about
kid.
Local bands.
Like
I mean,
every.
I've seen Sub-Sahara
That's what I
and
don't
Laurel
count.
and Kay, like,
Yeah, I don't count.
There
that.
you go. I don't count.
90,000
Here, let me
Yeah.
throw the methinks in there. Like I don't count
Yeah, yeah.
local. Local
Well,
bands
okay,
should
let's
count.
change it. Non-regional bands and purely international 4000 BX9
So,
tour of the world bands.
Does Pantera
Gene
count?
Loves Jezebel.
Pantera does count.
Okay, so it's either
Terror always counts.
it's either I know it's Nine Inch Nails
He would
is number
soundcheck
one,
with
but
the
Pantera,
Shit.
Pantera or Mastodon are number two.
What about Metallica? You've seen them a few times, haven't you?
Like 8 or 9, 10 times,
What do you think? How many times do you think you've seen Mastodon?
at least 15 to 16 times.
What about
Damn.
9 Inch Nails?
I know that for sure.
At least 15?
29 times.
Oh, 29? So 9 Inch
that's
Nails is
wild.
it then?
Yeah,
That's the band you've seen
no
the
one-
most.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've gotten to see Nine Inch Nails once,
Me too. One
and
time.
it was fucking
I
incredible.
loved it.
That's a fucking huge formative band.
Mhm.
Like, I basically, we're pretty much timing it, right?
it's okay.
Well-
it's a podcast. It's not like we're on a network.
Shit.
I mean,
So-
the British will get freaked out about this on Radio 1, but they'll
That'll be-
cut it off,
that'll be
whatever.
fine. But so my dad had done one of those
On
like
the BBC
remember
Radio
those
one?
buy 12 CDs for a penny things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
My dad fucking
Columbia
did one
House?
of those things. Yeah.
hell yeah.
I'm still
But-
got one in collections.
Well, he just bought like my dad bought all the shit that was like popular at a particular period of time that he hadn't listened to. That he was just like, yeah, I've heard, this White Zombie Alice in Chains, Nine Inch Nails. So
In
he
my
just bought
basement.
all these CDs, never listened to them, and just left them in a pile in a shoebox. So I fucking went through the shoeboxes one day and found a stack. And all in one day at like 9 years old, I got Dirt. I got Nirvana's Nevermind. I
So
got
great, so
Pretty
great.
Hate Machine.
Great.
I got Los Exorcisto. So I had the most mind-bending day of my life
Yeah.
listening to like Bad Motorfinger, fucking just like,
Yeah.
because prior to that I'd been listening to like Smash Mouth.
So
I
you-
lived in Crowley.
Do you
know what I mean?
remember
So it's
how
like-
your head felt when you walked away from that?
Dude, it was because literally the entire day was just going.
I love that you were into Smash Mouth.
Well, I mean, like, you know, I was fucking an 8-year-old living in Crowley, Texas with
Yeah.
no internet and no reference, like no family
Right.
members that were older.
Did you
so
feel like your world opened up
it?
and you
Definitely.
felt like your brain just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
was like half broken, but your world
Well,
felt
because you know, it was a weird thing. It was like listening to music that you would hear on the radio and you could identify with certain parts of it where you were like, oh, I really like that. Like you would hear a riff that was like in like a pop band or something, but it was like slightly heavy. Like, or there would be like one kind of chunkier part to like a pop song or something. And you would feel yourself going like, oh, that's cool. I wish there was a band that did that all the time. And then you hear fucking like Damn That River for the first time and you're like, holy shit, they do it the whole time? So that's kind of my thing. It's like, it was learning that you could fucking just, you know, be a good band for the entire 3 minutes as opposed to just 10 seconds.
well, that's what Meow Wolf feels like.
Tight.
Just like you did that, like an orgasm,
And now-
over and over and over
And
again.
now it's all tied together. You guys have orgasms?
Rarely.
I'm sorry.
Rarely.
Rarely.
We in the tree of
What?
trust here?
Oh, I forgot. Y'all's wives are in closer proximity.
All the time.
All the time.
All right. So this fall
Perfect.
we'll
He's
be
like,
looking
you
for
guys
something,
shut up now.
Mhm. Yep.
and we'll be looking for live shows.
Yep.
Coming up
That's coming.
pretty quick. Not
And so
Russo's
are
birthday.
we. Not Russo's birthday,
God
but we
damn it.
are
That's
we
when
are
Russo
doing
comes in.
we are doing something not Deep Red related, but something cool for Russo's birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Russo's going to come in the week of his birthday. We talked about this week.
Fucking love that guy.
We're going to have a birthday celebration of Russo's birthday.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
an
best way to do it.
unbirthday birthday.
Yeah.
Like in
You have to get him to
Alice
cook
in
for
Wonderland.
you at some point.
Yep.
If he hasn't already.
Is
All
he a
right.
chef yet?
Do what?
I feel like he should be a
Fucking
chef.
should be, dude.
He should bring us.
He's
going to
be the first chef that gets a what is it, a Goodyear like
Michelin star.
yeah, Michelin.
That dude
Goodyear.
randomly.
You watched The Bear. How do you not know what this is?
Yes,
You've
chef.
been to Michelin
Yes, chef.
restaurants.
Yeah.
You've been to Michelin restaurants. You've had Michelin beer from a Michelin
I
restaurant.
think he's going to be the first one that gets one of those without being a chef.
It's very possible.
just like
Yes, chef.
I'm a drummer. And
Yes,
I have I'm a 3-star
He's
Michelin
actually
drummer.
Dallas's best drummer, as voted
Yes,
by
chef.
Dallas Observer
2019.
2019.
If he won a
Until you fucking
Michelin
forget it.
star, which would he brag about more? Being Dallas best drummer or
Best
having
drummer.
a Michelin
He'd do
star?
it both at once.
Best drummer. Yeah, I think
He'd
it would
do it
just
both
become a
at once.
longer sentence.
Yeah, longer sentence.
You know what I mean? Or he would make business cards and just start handing them out to people to save his breath. You know, it would say Nick Russo, and then in very small letters, Dallas's best drummer, Dallas Observer best drummer 2019, Michelin star rated chef. Yeah, I think that would be the move.
All right, if everybody want to find out where y'all are, where you at?
We are on Instagram under Deep Red Band. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook if you're 80. You know,
I love Facebook.
I know, because you're 80, you listen to old people shit.
Why does that happen?
What does what happen? Ageism?
I mean, why is ageism happening with Facebook?
I love
Why are you
Facebook.
aging? Say,
because
with
I
social
fear
media?
death. Age gets me closer to death, so I make fun of her for being an old person with her taste.
I love Facebook.
God, Leah, you're so
Yeah.
old, but I love Facebook too. It
Ancient
still works.
Ancient
Honestly,
fuck.
if we didn't have the stupid podcast, though, I'd probably be off of it. But
No,
we
I
have to
love
use it for
Facebook. I've got my clan of
You-
yacht rockers.
I have an RPG video game group that I just torment every
Yes,
once in a while with bad
yeah,
takes.
No, there are great things about Facebook. Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 is good. Fuck you guys. Okay, you're gonna have to deal with that.
I didn't think we attacked that yet.
Now we were too busy with Live Nation, bro.
Yeah. All right, we're out of here. Good night.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Night.
Speaking of video games, have you guys seen that
Get on the stream.
video?
Thanks everybody for tuning in the stream. Tell everybody hi. Oh, Nick says he would totally promote the Michelin star over his drummer.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So, what if he's a Michelin star rated drummer? They just started bringing
Be
me
the first one.
There you go. Be the first one.
Dude, shirt time.
All
I'll
right,
make
later.
it, Nick.
Michelin rated.
That's what he needs. Yeah. Interesting.
There's this video